Well, we're 2 rounds down and we are 1 to go today. We have a fantastic looking race going up today. Hello and welcome to round 3 of the GPVWC Superleague season here from Azerbaijan, Baku. Yep, it's that one with the massive straights, but we should have some massively good racing here as well today. Josh Ranson here for the start of this broadcast. We should have a Jake Sanson, though he's not quite here yet. He'll be here for about 8 o'clock. Near enough to start of the race, but it'll be me taking you through until then. So, Baku, we all know it as that one with the massive long sections. Hashtag well done, Baku, indeed. But brilliant, brilliant stuff. And, well, the speeds that we're going to be hitting here are actually so big that we've actually seen a mod update, which has reduced the brake fade rate. So the brake demand is slightly less, and this is going to be interesting to see how that goes. We actually have Alex Skinner with us here to talk with the broadcast as well. We're alongside us today, and well, that's going to be interesting to see how these brakes cope with the new patch then, Alex.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these cars cope and how the new brake package is going to really improve for this field. And it's great to be back on the broadcast, by the way. Thank you, Josh, for actually mentioning me. Great to be alongside you again after, well, it's been so long now, Mexico last season. But yeah, these cars, it's going to be a great thing to see how the brakes come in. A lot of drivers having to change their setup last minute just to make sure that their brakes aren't going to fail. We saw a lot of failures last night in Super Cup, so hopefully we don't have the same issue here.
Yeah, of course, because you got that massive speed reduction for the first, like the long straights into the corners as well. You get the huge speed reduction that the drivers have to cope with. That's going to put loads of heat into the brakes. It's almost like it's an even more extreme version of Monza.
Yeah, it is an extreme version of Monza indeed, and just the difference being you have got a couple of high downforce sections. Even though they are quite slow little sections, they are still high downforce as such, but the teams will be running quite low wings here. So obviously, as you said, it being an extreme Monza, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the upgrades are going to fare as well.
Yeah, we'll come to those in the warm-up session and show you who's done what in terms of upgrades and changes to the cars. That will be coming in very soon in the warm-up session. But until then, we have the qualifying session to come. Who is going to get pole position here at Baku in the GPVWC Super League? That is the question that we are asking right now. And, well, you've got to think whoever's got the highest straight line speed, but it's not that simple. There's the corners to deal with as well, of course. And they are tricky. A lot of 90s as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to an extent. 7. It's pretty much 90-degree turns all round except for the last section.
Yeah, exactly. And I've tried driving this circuit, did a few laps in the Super League car this morning. I'm well off the pace of these guys, but it's just amazing how much concentration, especially even with it being, you know, even with it only being like a multitude of left and right-handers, it's just going to show how much concentration and how much extra focus you're going to need, even with such a slow circuit and such a slow like literally the minute you get through turn 1, how slow that is until you get out of turn 8.
Yeah, and it's quite slow through those corners, and as soon as you can get the throttle down, that's where the low wings are going to come in handy and where they're really going to pay off, so to speak. That is where you're really going to find the benefit. As everyone queuing to get out the pit lane for the start of this session, Risto Cabot, Alex Siebel, Yarltine going to be the first ones to get laps in, we feel, as this session gets off to start. And, well, perhaps one of those will end up on pole position because they've all been incredibly quick this season.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously watching the first 2 rounds from the sidelines, just as the one of the members of the disciplinary, it's been a very, very interesting first couple of the races of the season, especially with the final laps at Australia and then what was just an absolute sheer dominance by Risto Capit throughout the whole of Superleague China. So it could be anyone's game here, and it will be very, very close up front, obviously with Risto Capit being the first most likely to set a lap, with Tyan very close following. So we're going to be up in for some very, very quick qualifying laps.
We're going to be in for some very quick laps indeed in terms of raw top speed. Yarltine and Risto Capit, I think, going to be the first 2 to get laps in. And Tyan has actually got the draft on Capit, though I'm assuming the Estonian is going to want to break that soon. He'll want to get right out of the way so Tyan doesn't get any advantage whatsoever, because round here, every kilometre an hour really does count.
Exactly, and every little line change in every single little millimeter is going to make a massive difference, especially coming up towards like the final few final few important corners, and especially here as you see Risto just making his way down towards the final slow corner on the circuit. Yarltine weaving furiously in the background, but he is now most importantly out of that draft, meaning he is going to have a clean lap, and so is Jarl. These guys know that they're both going to be as quick as each other. Coming down the front straight, what top speed is Risto going to have underneath the ACR Zach speed? 330, 340 kilometers, 345 kilometers an hour. So the top speed of that Valiant engine proving to be very, very good indeed.
Yeah, that's just how quick these cars can go in a straight line, and, well, you know it. And we will be seeing some fast speeds through the speed traps this race, that much is for certain, but also some relatively quick lap times, because these cars are good in the corners. You've hit to say 2016 spec cars, really good in the corners with those improved aero packages we've seen over the last 2 years. And these really are going to attack these corners so hard, but they are still as quick in a straight line, which is a good thing. So we will be seeing those speed traps go into the 340s, presumably. And I've got a strong eye on Alex Cooper here in that Norton car. He's not had the best of season so far, but on his day, he can be absolutely brilliant. I reckon if he can get some good laps together, he'll be in for this pole position.
I can actually totally agree with you there, especially as we saw last season. He may not have had, like, you know, the best of starts, but he is definitely getting a lot quicker throughout his sort of career, and especially now he is in Norton. He's in one of the teams constantly fighting up the front, especially as you saw last season. He's going to have that backing behind him, and it's going to be interesting to see how he compares up to Fidek as well, especially as Fidek's not one to start off very strong, but come very, very quick later on in the races and the season. But as I say that, Risto Capit's coming around to finish his first lap.
Yeah, what is the time going to be from Capit? This will be the benchmark, you argue, for everybody else as he comes down the start finish. He's doing 344 kilometers an hour, hugging the left. It's a 138 dead from Capit. There is the base time, tying 0.05 of a second behind. That is not far at all. Adam Taylor 1.7 down. And the time's coming in now as the session progresses.
Cooper's quick. Cooper's currently up on Capit's time, but Peter Brulak goes fastest. So as I say that, Alex Cooper could potentially jump Risto Capit, but will not look to get pole. He's slower in the straight line. That Martex engine, not as quick. He's going to go P4.
Yeah, Cooper fourth there, but fantastic job from Burlak on that pole position with that Quasar-powered Edge car. And, well, that is, but thus far, that is a very, very big challenge to the likes of Captain and Tyan. Of course, Burlak, 2014 Formula Challenge champion, really been waiting, really, for seeing him back in Super League, and now he is back. Now he's showing the sort of form that won him the title back in 2014. This is phenomenal stuff to see. I mean, look at this. We've got cars. We've got 8 cars within half a second. They were only 5 minutes into the session. Calm down, everyone.
I wouldn't say that, Josh, because Siebel has just gone 4 tenths quicker than everyone. Siebel jumps to provisional pole with a 1:37.5, 4 tenths quicker than Burlak.
Well, that is, again, that's yet another step. That's the benchmark raised again, and everybody else is going to have to try and follow that now. There's still 10 minutes to go in the session. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, of course, but at the same time, that is an incredible act from Zero, and that'll probably serve to just damage the confidence, perhaps, of some of the people who aren't going as fast as they think they could be going. I mean, I look at Tom Parker. He's up there in 6th place, 7th place at the moment. 0.67 down on Siebel. He finds half a second. He's up in the 1st. Well, 2nd and a bit behind 1st. But
yeah, exactly.
He's not far off at all, and that's the thing we have to remember here, is that things can change on a dime here, and, well, people have penalties as well that are to be served, and we'll go through those in warm-up as well. But, of course, in all this, we have to take those into account, including Alex Siebel, actually. I've just noticed he is one of the ones with a back-of-the-grid penalty. We'll come to the full list. So, at the moment, at least, Tom Parker would just have to go 2nd, and he'd be on pole, assuming he doesn't have a penalty, of course. But we'll see how he actually does qualify in all this.
Yes, sorry for the delay there. Having a couple of issues, but just watching, Ricardo Costa. I was watching Ricardo Costa in that Hawkeye, and it looked like he just clouted the barrier at turn 8, whether that was just my end or not. But he's still going. He's 4 tenths down on Alex Siebel. So Hawkeye potentially not going to perform as well as I thought they would here, but there's still plenty of time left. Still 8 minutes in the session.
Yep, indeed. And, well, any eagle-eyed viewers out there will notice the lovely race view overlay we have going on at the moment. Inglorious DirectX 11, I believe, too. So, some brilliant graphics going on here, courtesy of RaceView, of course. And they are our live timing partners. So, if you go to raceview.nl and find the GPVWC Sim Racing live timing, you can watch it from there. Or go to the website and click on the live timing drop-down from the top of the website. So plenty of stuff to keep your eyes on things. And
oh, Josh, you've made a mistake. Apparently Alex Siebel doesn't have a back of grid, so this is currently legit.
Right, okay, it's just I'm looking at the site and that's where I'm getting the penalties from. So that may be the case. Siebel may have it legitimately, so true indeed, true indeed. If that is legitimate at the moment, then he'll have the pole position. So good to see that. And, yeah, I've just been informed reliably that there is no back-of-the-grid penalties there. I must have misread it. Sorry about that. So, yes, no back-of-the-grid penalty for Alex Siebel. And I'm going to give whoever's in charge of the website a stern telling off for not giving me the most updated information in the world.
Now, Capit's 1 tenth up on his best, only 1/100th down on Siebel at the moment. That's in the end of the 1st sector. He's just about to come up to the 2nd timing loom. Where's he going to go? He's 3 tenths up, a 10th down. So this is looking like 2nd place currently for Risto Caput. But can he gain anything on that final front straight away? Let's see, coming down the front straight on the DRS very shortly. Now 8th gear, max fuel mixture. 41, 42, 43, 44. It's going to be very, very close indeed. 500ths off his teammate.
That is close, but you're trying to set a purple 2nd sector. He does not get the speed, though, I believe, in the last sector. He's down and sets a personal best, a 10th down on Siebel, but at the moment, no progress for Tyan. That is not what he'll want, but we'll see how he does on this lap, because that's going to give him a bit of confidence, though he can set a purple sector. definitely problems with at least coming through for me. And yeah, apologies for these slight internet problems there with Alex. We'll hope to get him back as soon as we can. But yeah, Alex Siebel at least on pole position in this session so far, and has just sent a purple first sector, so improvement further from Siebel. And he is going to be on for a fast lap. If he can get this purple third, he comes down into the start-finish area now. Siebel, what is his lap time going to be? He comes across now, and it will be a 1 minute 37.5. He improves. Not a purple last sector, but he improves. So good lap from Siebel there. Well placed to get that slight improvement. That is going to make life a little bit harder for him now. For his teammates and enemies at least. But Siebel doing a very good job to keep that pole position time improving. He is going to be putting the benchmark even higher as this session progresses. 4:35 to go. And we are going to be seeing the lap times fall further, of course, as these minutes come down, as more and more rubber goes onto the track. Doesn't make as big a difference as you'd think, but it does make a difference. So you are more likely to see lap times faster at the end of the session. There's Dennis Jordan coming out of the pits to start another lap as well. Jordan himself has been a very interesting quantity this season, been very impressive. We are going to see just how he can do here at Baku, but he has been very good so far in that Evolution car there, the number 17. And we're going to see exactly how he does here too, but I am expecting good things, especially because he's qualified 4th at the moment. Personal best for Costa, Paolini and Clont as well. They all improve on their previous times. Mr. Captain and Yaltai yet to start another lap. But at the moment, we are looking good for a faster time. As it stands, Capet is just a 10th behind Siebel. Tyan is just a 10th behind Capet. Jordan is about 500ths behind Tyan. It is incredibly close within these top 4. 0.263 of a second separates them. So you know you are going to be in for a good race when this happens. Even in the qualifying session. Personal best, Sector 1 from Burlak. Though it's still 0.3 down on Siebel's previous sector. So we're looking for an improvement from Burlak here. If not an absolute outright fastest lap, we'll be expecting to make it into the top 3 perhaps. There is only about a couple of tenths in it. That's all he needs to find. Burlak now coming round the final corner. And we're going to see what he does. 23.669. It's not a fast sector again. He's going to need a really good last sector here. He's going to need a lot of speed. Not much room for improvement here, though, with being so fast. Really is the first 2 sectors we're going to be keeping an eye on in the races, especially in terms of catching people. And Burlak's actually boarded that lap. He's coming. He's going to have one more crack at the whip. Capet, though, that's a PB Sector 1. So personal best first sector for Risto Cabot. Will be keeping an eye on him because he has a serious chance, if he can improve on all 3 of his sectors, of going fastest overall. He just needs to keep going and keep this pace up and gain 0.128 of a second on his teammates. Very much the team leader here, expecting this team, being on last year. He's joined this year by Alex Siebel. Personal best sector 2 for Capet. We've seen improvement perhaps, but will the improvement that the Estonian is about to make be enough for pole position? He's going to come across the line and he sets himself enough. He does 137.4. Purple last sector. Pole for Capet provisionally, unless someone else can improve. And Alex Siebel is going to get one more chance here. He's going to get one more crack of the whip. He's going to get one more opportunity to go pole. Jarl Tyan as well, I think, is not going to get another opportunity. He's got damage to his car and he's coming in. He is not going to get another opportunity, so it's down, you feel, to Siebel, Jordan, Burlak, Costa, and perhaps Tida as well. I must say I'm impressed by Tida as well. He's doing very well in 7th as well, only 7 tenths off the pace. So good result from Margot Tida so far in this session. Personal best for Fournier as well, up to 16th place. Not quite the dizzy height of the win in the very first round of the season, but we all know Jeffrey Fournier, he can spring from anywhere. Personal best for Lopez too goes up to 9th. Improves, he will have one more lap as well. Cabot not improving thus far, but Costa sets a personal best first sector. Though it is 7/10 down on Cabot, so we're not expecting anything massive just yet. As time begins to tick down for the final few seconds now, anyone on a lap will be finishing it. No one can start one now. This is the end of time as far as time in this session is concerned. Cabot not looking likely to go quicker. So it's going to be down to Siebel, Jordan, Burlak and Costa most likely, as Cabot does in fact come in, so aborting that lap. Siebel is not looking to improve much either, so he is not yet, he's just pulled off there, he's not going to be improving. So it's down, you feel, time can't improve. Jordan really hasn't got the best of first sectors, but he's not far off Cabot. And he in fact did set a PB. Ricardo Costa in that first sector goes 5th. So displaces Burlak. Costa up to 5th place. Impressive stuff, only half a second off. Jordan with a PB sector 2. Will that sector 1 hurt him though? That's the question. He's pushing all the way to the end. He's going to take this lap as he comes back down to the start finish. He's hugging the inside to keep as little time loss as possible. What will Dennis Jordan's lap time be as he comes across the start-finish line? He goes 3rd by 0.137. He does find time. And how much time he found. Dennis Jordan slices himself into 3rd. And a brilliant, brilliant lap at that from Jordan to go there. I don't think we're going to see any other meaningful improvements here. So it's looking likely to be an ACR Zach Speed 1-2 in qualifying. These two doing a fantastic job to get that. Cabin from Siebel though, and that's not the order some people might have been expecting, but it is the Estonian on pole from his teammate, from Dennis Jordan, Jarl Tyne, Ricardo Costa, Peter Burlak, Argo Tida, Alex Cooper, Fran Lopez, and Tom Parker, the top 10. Jeffrey Fournier 11th, David Feidick 12th, Hutchinson 13th, Whitekilk 14th, Dino Paolini 15th, then Liam DeVore, Florian Gaia, Boy Milan, Michael Ayres, and Ben Horrell rounding out the top 20. And then Pedro Gomez, Adam Taylor, Menno Clark, Tobias Olsen, Bastian Paisler, Rutger Hoogstraat, Thomas Hintz, and Jean-Pierre Halpap rounding out the grid. So, pole for Cabot here at Baku. That is impressive stuff. Dennis Jordan, though, what an impressive last lap for him in that Evolution Motorsports car. He will be pleased with that, most certainly. And, well, hopefully we can bring Alex Skinner back now. What a lap. What a lap from Jordan to get himself up to 3rd.
Honestly, I'm gobsmacked. I'm speechless. I was sat there watching that lap, and what a lap it was. But the driver who surprised me the most, just out of the field, just the whole things that surprised me the most, are the Norwegians. Only 9th. Oh, sorry, not 9th. Sorry, only 8th and 12th. That's not sort of where you'd expect the Norwegians to be, especially with the championship fighting team. But great to see Dennis Jordan up in 3rd. This could be a very good race for him as long as he gets through turn 1.
Yep, and of course turn 1 is going to be an interesting one. It is just quite tight corner at first turn as well, especially from the speeds coming in later laps, but very, very tricky first turn. They're going to have to negotiate it quite carefully here, and Jordan, I'm sure, will be on for a good start as well a lot of the drivers. And they're all going to be hoping they do get through that first turn and there's no major incidents. And, well, here's a funny statistic for you. 5 out of 6 cars in top 10 are Valiant powered. Why does that not surprise
Yep,
us?
and it doesn't. And all 3 of the top 3 are Valiant powered. So
even though they've lost
if
a lot
only
of customers...
if Jarl Tyne had gotten 3rd, he would have broken that. So come on, Jarl, improve for the next few races, please.
Oh, dearie me. Well, it was still a good show. Even though they've lost customers, you know, they're showing they're still up there with the best engines to have.
Oh, exactly. They're showing that they are going to be that team with that engine to beat. And even though they did lose customers, as you say, they've made those customers even stronger. And that could be a very, very valuable trait this season.
Yeah, it could be a valuable trait as all points and development points and actual championship points are like points being prizes in the GPVWC, especially with the actual prize pot we have this year. But, well, all the points last race round in China were going to Risto Capit. Remember, the Estonian had a fantastic race in the end, won the Chinese Grand Prix, followed by Petter Burlak 22.3 seconds down the road. Then it was Jarl Tyne in the second edge car. So an edge 2-3 at China, but the winner, of course, Capit. Fran Lopez got a good fourth, and Wright Kilk a fantastic fifth for Eval Racing Team as well. Effectively, the Estonian national team making their mark on Super League. Boa Milan was sixth, Pedro Gomez seventh, Liam de Brick Wall, as we call him, Liam Duvall was eighth, Dennis Jordan ninth for Revolution, and Jeffrey Fournier rounding out the top 10 for Epic, and 11th for Mark Hutchinson, and 12th for Tom Parker as well. Further down the order, Adam Taylor, David Fidek, and Dino Paolini rounding out the points, which surprising people maybe slightly and expect them to be further up, but still, apparently, blimey, we're holding fire on the standings. Got that a little bit late, unfortunately, but yeah, those are your top 15 from the last race at least, and yeah, that is, it was a good race, China.
Oh, agreed. China was absolutely amazing to watch. You know, as much as I haven't been on the commentary team, I have been watching these races because you can't stay away from Super League, especially with the new format and, well, not the new format, sorry, the new cars, and with how amazing that Melbourne was. Super League was a very interesting strategy race with a lot of action in between. So hopefully Baku can be the same, except with hopefully no accidents like we've seen in the lower tier series.
Yeah, hopefully we can, keep that going and, well, keep that going throughout the actual race as well, to be sure. And it's been an interesting time in the downtime from the previous race as well. There's not that many penalties to go through this time. Only a few drivers have outstanding penalties, and I'm not entirely sure any of them were on the grid today. Actually, I looked up and down, and I can't see anyone who's there with a major penalty. So that's actually good news. That's good news. I think it's one of the first races we've had this season where that's not happened.
I was about to say it's one of the first races for a while actually, because we had some in Abu Dhabi last season. We had some prior to that as well. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a grid without penalties. So this is actually everyone you saw in qualifying is where they're meant to be legitimately. So there you go, your grid's all sorted.
Yeah, grid all sorted indeed. You know, that is actually legitimately the grid. And, well, we can actually bring you, we were going to bring the standings before. I think we can bring you the standings soon as the relevant issues with the actual drives and teams have been updated. We're just going to wait for that to get loaded into the system. But, yeah, it's been an interesting time off season. No penalties this time as well. So everyone's going to be starting with a qualified, and that is good to see. And, well, we can bring you the drivers and team standings after 2 rounds now. And, well, we have Risto Capit leading the championship on 41 points. And that is good to see for him, the Estonian out there. But he's chased by Jeffrey Fournier, the Frenchman. Just 10 points down after that win at Melbourne. He is right there and right willing to take the lead back. Liam Duvall, third on 28. Jarl Tyne, fourth on 24. And Petter Burlak, his teammate, is on 20 points. And that means Epic leading the standings by just 1 point over Epic over Esports. Just 1 point in between them. And ACL Zaxby 3 down. And then there are 12 points separating them and Hawkeye Racing and 1 separating Hawkeye and Storms. They are your top 5 in the drivers and teams. And talk about timing, now we're joined by Jake Sanderson.
Thank you very much indeed. Apologies for my late arrival to the stream. It's been a very busy day at the office commentating for me. It's been motorbikes in the morning, Fiesta Juniors in the evening, and now we've got the most exciting race of the day, without any shadow of a doubt. It's going to be the Grand Prix Virtual World Championship Super League from Baku. After the last 2 nights, and I have been watching them very closely, the Formula Challenge and Super Cup, goodness knows who is going to win this one, Josh. It's an absolute lottery.
Well, we have an ACL Zach Speed 1-2 to begin with off the grid, so they are going to be the favourites. But as you rightly say, Jake, it is a lottery, and well, it's a good thing I'm here, I guess, if you've had all this commentary to do, because I'm fresh, raring and ready to go.
It's been a bit up and down all day long. Yes, I've had the wet and windy nature of Landau in Wales, all the way through to the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit a week ago, actually, for the Fiesta Junior Championship. That's all going to be televised, of course, via YouTube and via motorsport.tv. But now ready for what is definitely going to be the most action-packed race that we'll get to talk about today. And with things being so frenetic over the last 2 nights in the previous 2 categories, I've seen more major incidents and pile-ups over the course of the last 4 races in the last 48 hours of GPVWC that I think we saw in most of last season.
Oh, wow. In that case, then, all the drivers are going to have to keep their toes pointed firmly towards the brake pedal in case they need to use it. And, well, we hope they do use them at the correct moment, of course, but we hope there is no major tail-on crash, of course. We do like to see clean starts, but at Baku, that's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, as we've already been evidence over the previous races in the Formula Challenge and Super Cup Series. Of course, keep your comments rolling as well. We have Matt Jason in the comments. Hello, Matt, saying, have ACR won a race in GPV so far this year? They were utterly dominant in qualifying over an SFSR in Formula Sim Racing, but weren't as fast in the race. And yeah, Risto Capet won last time out, China. So that is a 1 race for them. And you're right, absolutely. They are very quick in qualifying, but sometimes it goes wrong in the races. We've seen in this season. It's gone wrong for Alex Siebel all season, and Capet didn't have the best of the first races. He had a good run. He was at the sharp end of the field, but he wasn't quite up the top. So he'll be wanting to put that behind him and get to the top.
Let's not forget as well that in Australia, it was a 1-2 right up until the point that Alex Siebel actually ended up having a difficulty. So it was another driver that lagged into him and he ended up rolling it. But he was leading up until that point, and it was a 1-2 for the team. So it could easily have been 2 victories from the first 2 races. But now we're getting ourselves ready for the action with 3 minutes to go in warm-up. And it's going to be difficult to predict whether the ACR cars are going to be able to stay in front this time, because obviously we saw a tricky race for them in Australia. We saw a pretty convincing performance from Risto Capet in China. Are we going to see that same ACR Zach Speed turn up this time, Josh, or is there going to be another challenger to emerge?
Well, I expect they are going to be absolutely on it. They are going to be full throttle all the way, but we've seen just how close the qualifying can be. I think Edge could be up there. I think the eval cars could be up there if they get a good start. It is really anybody's game, as I was saying to Alex before you came along. It really is like an extreme version of Monza. You got these slow corners, then you got the massively fast sections as well. So, you know, people are going to be bringing low wing to this, and that kind of equalizes it out.
Well, there's a lot of places around the circuit where it gets tight and twisty. And in particular, we've seen in the last couple of nights when in the heat of battle, drivers have been able to get 1 lap in the bag pretty good in those particular areas. But when you start to battle with other drivers, the turbulent air that's obviously going to cause a little bit of difficulty, particularly in the faster sections towards the latter part of the lap. That's when it really unsettles the driver. But we're going to see quite a few battles over the course of the day, Josh, where drivers will be able to put things together on a fast lap with not much trouble at all. In the heat of battle, that's where things get interesting.
Yeah, especially when you consider the car development into account. I'm looking at a nice little graph here. It's not as detailed as the ones I usually get, but it shows roughly how each car is developed. And you might be surprised, actually, find, Jake, the eval cars on top on an overall completion rate of about 40%. They can develop these cars quite quickly, but development speed really does tail off towards the end of the season. As you develop a part more, there's less gain, the law of diminishing returns, if you will. You're not going to get as much out of it. And eval really have jumped ahead of the field in overall development. They're 40% done compared to Flag to Flag, who are 31. And then you'll see on the screen there, actually, we've got it up. Everyone else is within 30 to 27%. It's so close between the other cars. But really, at the moment, the eval looking like the Mercedes of the Super League field.
That is particularly interesting. And of course, with that team moving forward in the 2018 season, I would not be too surprised if that car starts getting regular podiums as things go on. But there are some dark horses in the field and some teams that we expected to be stronger in the earlier stages of the field and that just haven't been, particularly the Red Bull Street Fighter team. We just haven't seen them be on their A game in quite the way that we expected them to so far. It's been much of a headache for that team in the first 2 races, but there's still time for it to change, Josh.
There is still a lot of time for it to change, indeed. And, well, the question is, I want to bring Alex Skinner into this here, actually, as well, because, you know, we look at that statistic, 40%. Shouldn't you have gone for a more well-rounded approach as to opposing to developing specific parts? Because that's what a lot of teams did last season, and it paid off, develop specific parts.
Well, the thing is as well, you've got to realise, as I just see a couple of cars almost coming together, as you've got to realise as well that the cars are going to be, even if they're very well balanced or if they're overall rounded, they're going to be very well balanced. As you see, so cars like the Woods, even before they pulled out last season, they were very well balanced because they were pretty well rounded. If you're developing single parts of the car and just aiming for one specific thing, say front wing downforce, yeah, you can run a really low front wing and maybe, you know, a bit low of a rear wing, but it's going to mean that the rest of the car is going to be underdeveloped and it's going to be a bit more unstable. And I think that's what teams are going to have to balance throughout the season.
Yeah, I think we are moving to the race session very shortly, and we are going to see this race get underway and how things are going to be able to be going for him and the rest of the field as we wait for Baku to get underway and see exactly who does what.
And we've lost a Jake Sanson as well.
Yeah,
he's not with us currently. Apologies.
I did mention that.
Okay, I didn't hear.
Yeah, but I was going to say, actually, if you would like to know more about the upgrades, SimNews.tv have a brilliant program called The Scrutineer going on, in which Mike Pittman runs through all of the teams and drivers and all the development info, really in-depth stuff. So if you're a stats nerd, go watch that. As well, Chris Williamson, now our race director, moving us into the main session of this race, and that is the race itself, of course. 51 laps of Baku coming up at you. Expect high speed, thrills, chills, spills, and mass appeals, and all sorts of shenanigans going on, but the good kinds of shenanigans, of course, because that's all we do here at GPVWC, the good type.
Yeah, we don't want any bad shenanigans going on here. We've seen enough of that in the past, and hopefully it will be a good year this year as we're rejoined by Jake Sanson. Good to have you back, Jake.
Yes.
Apologies there, just powdering my nose. I hope you don't mind. Well, the thing is, in the last couple of races, I've been on the edge of my seat so many times. I need to get myself ready and prepared for this one because we've had so many people basically saying that Baku is really going to give us a little bit more of an interesting battle. I think that's the most tame way I could possibly think of saying it. But it is going to be very, very difficult. It is going to be difficult to see how things are currently progressing. But yes, the graphic that I've just been looking at myself as well, just demonstrating how the car development has been going for Eval. The thing is, they've got two very quick drivers who have actually proven to be particularly strong. In particular, we're talking about Wright Kilk, the Estonian. Now, what can he do with that car being developed the way it is? Could we see Wright Kilk on the podium today, perhaps? Alex, what do you think?
I just think it could be anyone. It's Baku, as you said earlier. We saw in the junior tiers last night and the night before, especially in Super Cup, where we had cars flying through the air doing amazing acrobatics. One of those being Lewis Redshaw. But it could be anyone's race to win here. For all we know, both ACR Zaxby's could be involved in a turn 2 accident, and you know, someone maybe from last, maybe Thomas Hinds could come up the front and win this. He's not been confident, but, you know, keep it clean and out of the barriers and out of the other cars, and it could be a race win.
Well, it would be the most amazing race win in the world if he starts 25th in this, and it's just occurred to us, we probably should be talking you through the grid right now. Risto Cabin on pole for ACR Zaxby, and Alex Siebel, his teammate, right behind him. A 1-2 for ACR Zaxby, and then it is number 17, Dennis Jordan, right behind in the Evolution car, and Jarl Tyatt following. Then row 3 is Ricardo Costa and Peter Burlak, the Hawkeye and the Edge. Sounds like a really bad rock album, but it's a great third row. Argo Tina and Alex Cooper make up row 4. And 5th row, 9th and 10th, is number 2, Fran Lopez, and number 18, Tom Parker. Moving down to 11th now is race winner Jeffrey Forney in the 97 Epic, who I am contractually obliged to be a fanboy of after he won there at Melbourne. And David Fiding, two-time champion in 12th place in number 19. Mark Hutchinson 13th in the first flag to flag, and then it's number 70, Wright Kilk in 14th place. Then it's Dino Paolini and Liam Duvall in row 8. Row 9 is Gaia and Milan. number 12 and number 5 respectively. Then 19th is Michael Hayes in the second flag to flag, and Ben Horrell in the second Red Bull Street Fighter. Then Pedro Gomez in 21st, Adam Taylor 22nd for Adonis, and then it's 23rd for Tobias Olsen, 24th for Baskin Paisley, 25th for Thomas Hens in the number 52 Red Archer, 26th place for Jean-Pierre Halpat, Menno Klon 27th, and Whoopie Hoekstra rounds out the grid. So, Jake, all things considered, who's your pick for the win?
It's a very difficult one, but if you look at lap times over the course of qualifying, it's obviously going to be somebody from the ACR field that will have the best opportunity to take the victory. I would not count Jarl Tyen from his first potential win in the championship. He seems to be very dialed in the 2018 season. He's got a good package underneath him. The edge car is very strong. Petter Burlak in 6th position on the grid could get something pretty magical here. We still haven't really seen what Ricardo Costa can do, dialed on all cylinders, and being there on the 3rd row of the grid could be interesting to see what he can give us. But then Dennis Jordan, 3rd position on the grid. It wouldn't be a million miles away from insanity to be considering him for the top step of the podium. 51 laps of this Baku circuit. We are going to be on the edge of our seats whatever happens here. Jake Sanson, Josh Anderson, and with updates from Alex Skinner as the race goes on from time to time as well in the commentary box here for the GPVWC Super League, the 3rd round of the championship. Our last car's getting into position. Capit, Siebel, Jordan, Tyen, Costa, Burlak, Tida, Cooper, Lopez and Parker in the top. Fournier, our Australian Grand Prix winner, on the 6th row alongside double champion David Fidek. This is going to be the big one, guys. The run to the first corner. And we're racing. It's a good start from the first row. No problem at all. Dennis Jordan trying to come through and split the difference. He's not going to make it to first in the first corner, but the top 3 are through nice and safe. Is there going to be another behind? Yes, there is.
Big crash, big crash.
That is a massive one around the back there. Several cars involved. I saw a Hawkeye. I saw a Nordstrom. Everyone
Fidek's in trouble. Fidek's in trouble trying to force his way through. Now he's back on the inside of Borja Milan. We've got several drivers having dropped down the order. Olsen was in trouble there. Lopez has dropped all the way back down to 26th place now. Paulini's recovering. So too Jean-Pierre Halpat. Several drivers involved in that one. That was just inevitable.
Well, it felt like everyone and their mothers was involved in that one, but it seems that everyone's come out of it nicely, actually. No major damage. Things not going terribly wrong. Apologies, by the way, if you're seeing a bit of a frame rate issue on the stream. We will see if we can get that sorted in the first couple of laps. I think RF2 and DX11 has a kind of a tendency to do that in the first couple of laps of a race, but we'll be hoping to bring you a nice, smooth, consistent frame rate. But in the coming laps, either way though, Cabot, Siebel, Jordan, Costa, Burlak, the top 5 at the moment. Great start from those 5. Fournier up 2 into 8th. Great start from the Frenchman as well. This is why he won Melbourne.
The biggest difficulty in that pile-up really came from Tobias Olsen.
Burlak.
Tina and Burlak got together big time there.
Oh dear, that really could have been avoided as well. That was going hungry early on the first lap, and it just ended up with both of them in trouble. He
must have missed his braking point or something, because he just slid, hit the wall, went straight into Burlak, and Fournier, I think, just missed it as well, which is incredibly lucky for Jeffrey Fournier. Liam Duvall and Alex Cooper are going at it for 6th place and 7th place as well. Fournier is well ahead, but Cooper he's got it on the braking over Duvall here, and that is a good move from him to keep that there. But woof, we are having a bit of argy-bargy in these first couple of laps as Dino Paolini seems to be quite damaged at the back. That is suspension damage. He's going to be hard-pressed to get that fixed. Tina, Burlak both in as well.
But what a start from Jeff Fournier, now in the top 6 in behind Jarl Tyen. The Frenchman may well be in with a chance of victory again, as he was in Australia. He's got to play the long game here. He's very good at that. His Epic Racing team already seem to have some good strategy underneath them in this opening part of the season. Fournier up into the top 6 by lap 2, sorry, is pretty spectacular going, and it has to be said, he's now very much in with a chance of victory. The top 3 unchanged. Ricardo Costa up to 4th place. Jarl Tyen 5th. He's still on the cards for a win if he can get good pace in the early stages. But Fournier, the big mover. Cooper in 7th place from Duvall, Kilk, Parker. Adam Taylor running well in 11th place in front of Flo Gaia in the first of the Red Bull Street Fighters. Then it's Borja Milan, the other Red Bull Street Fighter of Ben Horrell. Then Fidek, Paisler, Hutchinson and Olsen.
Costa got a bit squiggly out the second and last corner there. It's allowed Tyen through into 4th place. Just showing how difficult it is to keep these cars under control sometimes. Ricardo Costa losing a bit of time. Doesn't look to be any damage on that Hawkeye car of his, but it has hurt his position at the moment, at least. So Fournier might be in with a chance if he can keep these good laps up, although Costa is going to have the draft, and that's going to help him. Tyan is not going to have any defense against Costa here. He's that quick as he breaks for one. He just gets it straight back again. That's the nature of the beast at Baku.
Brilliant driving there from the Adonis as Ricardo Costa, from the Hawkeye, I should say, as he gets himself up into 4th position there. Tyan in 5th. Fournier 6th from Cooper and Kilk. We just had Dino Paolini in the pits, so clearly the incident he was involved in the first lap, he had major damage. Here comes Tyan back on the inside of Ricardo Costa. It's tit for tat. Push me, pull you, if you like, as he makes his way through on the inside into P4, the Norwegian. Now just a stone's throw away from Dennis Jordan, but Jeff Fournier is actually gaining ground on them. Australia was no fluke, Josh.
I think we've proven that so far in these first 2 races. He can be up there, and he can be a championship candidate if he just keeps these performances up. And that epic car is developed the way he needs it to be. He could be right up there. And boy, Milan's not doing terribly either at the moment, I don't believe, as well. He's in 13, so that's points, at least for Epic. Jeffrey Fournier really could be in with the top 3 potential here. Paolini getting lapped again, as you rightly say. He has got big problems, and I think he's actually coming to a stop here. And no, he's just letting people through. I thought he was going to retire there, but at this point, you should pretty much, I think, retire anyway. If you're a lap down after just 2 laps, you're hardly going to make that back up. And as far as, you know, as far as getting to the end's concerned, I don't think we'll see him finish this race. I think we'll see him save the engine, because this is quite an engine-intensive track as well.
Sorry, just watching Borja Milan as he tries to get away from Ben Horrell. He is pushing very hard indeed as he makes himself an epic meat sandwich on Red Bull Street Fighter bread, as he's got Gaia in front of him, Ben Horrell behind him. Great battling as we've got more battles down the main straight side by side. Right, Kilk dealing with Alex Cooper, but of course the next opportunity he's going to get, Alex Cooper will be straight back up the inside. It's going to be battles like this all the way through. Now Jarl Tyan, having got back past Ricardo Costa, finds himself, oh, we got an off, that's Milan. Milan has gone off there at the first corner, so Milan has dropped out of that little sequence. He's rejoined just in front of Pedro Gomez.
Yeah, indeed, right in front of Gomez. That has hurt him. Hoekstra out of the race due to an accident. That'll be an off he's had. And, well, we're seeing Matthews in the comment scene. Why would you save the engine as it's Sim Racing?
It's a big one for Hoekstra as well. He seems to have lagged down the straight while trying to defend from Gomez and Lopez. I think he's had an incident there with the... I think there's been a lagging incident or something. He's ended up powering into the barriers on the main straight. And how on earth he was missed there. But no, he wasn't missed. My apologies. There's going to be a second retirement because he was, in fact, clipped down the back straight as well by Menno Klont. So Klont and Hoekstra both out.
Yeah, Klont and Hoekstra both out of this race. Incredibly unfortunate for them two. They'll hope they got to the end of the race. But to go back to the point I was making before, in Super League at least, you don't get a new engine every race. No, you only get so many a season. Thanks to the massive development work that goes on with the teams. They get 4 engines a season. They take old engines in with pre-worn factors on them, and the more engine race, and the...
Flo Gaia is battling away with Adam Taylor at the moment. Flo Gaia's got Adam Taylor on the slipstream. This is going to be a good run, and this is going to be Flo Gaia's moment of the season so far, considering how lackluster things have been in Australia and at China. He makes the move on Taylor. No problem at all for Flo Gaia. Is this going to be his comeback drive? We certainly hope so. Flo Gaia at the front of the field is always more entertaining to watch than in the mid-pack. So now we should be able to see the 11th place man, Flo Gaia, work his way forward. But Ben Horrell in 13th is not far away either. I'm just hoping for their sake that the Red Bull Street Fighter team have got a little bit more in reserve. But then they're right in there with Adam Taylor and Bastian Paisley in the Adonis Engineering cars. So both of those teams running very similar pace at the moment. Jarl Tyan still trying to keep up with Dennis Jordan further up the road. But Risto Kappen and Alex Siebel, again, Josh, it seems as though actually Alex Siebel is the faster of the 2 ACR Zaxby drivers. And that's not the first time we've said that this year.
Not the first time we've said it this year, indeed. And we'll continue to keep an eye on affairs and see if that continues throughout the race. Though I expect that they will be allowed to race here, and they will be allowed to have a go at each other, so to speak, and keep the pressure on each other. That will be allowed to occur. As we have Parker in 10th, fighting it out with Liam de Waal in 9th, and this could be interesting. between these two. Tom Parker obviously never won a Super League race, but he's always been there or thereabouts. And Duval does get a bit squiggly on the exit of final turn. Well, turn proper there. The rest are just kinks. And Parker really giving it everything he's got here, as you'd expect him to. As he come back down to the start finish, he is going to have the draft, and I believe the DRS, and he is going to be an absolute cakewalk down the start finish here from Parker. He just slips right by Duval. Doesn't really have a chance unless he can defend. Oh, well, he can.
What? That's amazing.
Living up to his nickname, Liam the Brickball there, holding Parker behind him, and Tom Parker will be furious. And he's going to be thinking, how could I not have gotten through with that advantage?
Well, absolutely. The Evolution is not a slow racing car. Here comes Parker again.
Oh, he's
overshot into the wall. Surely now that is game over for Parker. He's going to have so much damage.
No, he only has slight suspension damage. He's gotten away brilliantly with that.
Well, fair enough. I have to say, I'd have thought that would have been game over. Oh, he's really struggling for grip, though, as he goes into the left and right.
That'll be the tyres. He'll have overheated them when he went across, but Gaia and Taylor have closed in now. I reckon he's going to lose time with that bent suspension. You can't not lose time with that bent suspension, but Gaia has got to be careful as Duval off.
Oh, Duval is off. Duval is off just a few corners further on. He's gone off at that treacherous part of the course where it gets really tight and twisty up by the castle. So Liam Duval drops down to 13th position. So Parker's got him anyway. And Duval has actually lost a few places. But the difficulty now is going to be for Parker. He's got suspension issues, but he's also got... He's overworked the tyres trying to get the car stopped. So he's going to cause a bit of a roadblock for Gaia, Taylor and Horrell unless he decides to pit early. They're going to be scrambling on the strategy, Evolution. They've got to try and figure out a way to exacerbate the problem. But Gaia's going to make mincemeat of him down the straight. Yeah, Gaia has a chance on Parker here. And yeah, teeter out, I've actually realised. I'll go teeter up there into the forward. And Taylor goes down the inside. Look at this. I didn't expect to see that from Taylor. Hey goes, thank you very much. I'm going to take this opportunity you've just given to me. Guy's going to get him back. Guy's going to try and get him back. And Taylor very nearly lost it under braking there as Parker pits in. Guy's still there to the inside. He's going for it again, and he goes. Taylor shuts the door hard in his face there. So hard, I think he almost broke his nose as Horrell. His own teammates going for him. Adam Taylor slamming the door firmly shut in Flo Gaia's face. You shall not pass. Absolutely amazing from Taylor. He's been reading Lord of the Rings. Keeps Flo Gaia behind him. Absolutely brilliant. Ben Horrell has tightened right up on these two now as well. This is definitely the strongest race we've seen so far from Red Bull Street Fighter. But Taylor is holding them both at bay at the moment. I'm not entirely sure how. He's definitely had his Weetabix this morning. Yeah, Adam Taylor on a flyer at the moment, holding both Street Fighters behind him. And Red Bull may give you wings, but it doesn't give you 9th place, evidently, this time around, as Taylor doing a brilliant job of holding them all off. And I am going to be interested to see if he can continue to do this throughout the rest of this race. He has been on a flyer since the start, and he's continuing to be on one. But Risto Captain and Alex Siebel, talking of flyers, they are the ultimate flyers at the moment. They're so flyers, they've upgraded themselves into posters, you'd argue, as well. The poster boy at GPV, Risto's trying to make himself here, but he's not pitting just yet. Neither is Siebel. I think we're about to get a position change. Right Kilk is giving Jeff Fournier a major hassle down the back and down the main straight. It's not going to happen yet, but after turn 2, I think Right Kilk has definitely got Fournier on a break in the slipstream. So after turn 2, Right Kilk could be going for it. Meanwhile, Gaia is going to make the move on the inside of Taylor down that back straight. Taylor slots right back in behind Gaia. He's going to try and get him back into the first corner. As he know, he just lets Gaia go. There's no percentage really to keep exacerbating the problem. He can get him back again on DRS after turn 2. Meanwhile, Kilk is closing in on Fournier for 6th position. He's not quite able to overhaul him yet. But Adam Taylor, well, he's not as close to Gaia as I thought he would be. So he's not quite going to be able to overhaul him down to turn 3. Yeah, perhaps so. I'm watching Right Kilk and Jeffrey Fournier in 6th and 7th at the moment, because look where Kilk is. He's right on the back of the Frenchman. If he stays there come the start finish, he is going to be right on the Frenchman's, well, proverbial rear end as he goes for the overtake. Alex Cooper, though, in that Norwegian is not far behind. So if anything goes wrong for either of these two, he's in the perfect position to capitalise on that mistake from the two of them. And, well, it could be interesting. Fournier, the more Kilk battles Fournier, the closer Cooper gets is Lopez fighting for 15th, as he's been Michael Ayers there, Mark Hutchinson, Bastian Paisley in the 13, 14, 15 train as well. We have points battles going on there as well. Worth keeping an eye on because, well, all points matter in Super League.
and Michael Ayres holding the last one as well. Flag the flag, I must say, doing a very good job of holding those last 2 point positions. As here we go with Fournier and Kilk going to battle each other now, going for the overtake on the straight. Kilk will be, look how close he is now.
Yeah, Kilk is definitely going to get him on the slipstream here. It's up to Fournier where he positions the car to make Right Kilk work for it. He's not even going to move across. He's going to let Right Kilk go through and slot straight back in behind him. That's what he's going to try and do to get back on the inside for turn 1. Is he going to brake a little bit later? No, he's going to slet him up for the exit of turn 2. But isn't it amazing what a difference a few months make when we think that the drivers towards the front end, the sharp end of the field, were the likes of the Lopez's, the Fidux, the Coopers, the Olsons, and the other drivers who are really struggling in the first part of this season. We have got Risto Capit at the front as we had last year. Alex Siebel, though, his teammate, is definitely trying to prove his superiority. The German wants to be the next Rudy Van Buren. He does not want to let his Estonian teammate grab all the glory. He has been so far and away the most impressive driver from those two, pound for pound. Just didn't get a chance to show it at Shanghai, out on the first lap. At Melbourne, he was stretching out an advantage over Capit. Now he's giving Capit pressure.
Yeah, putting Capit under pressure, and well, Siebel, last year's Super Cup champion, making a point that he's one of the best drivers in the GPVWC, never mind just Super Cup, and that he deserves his seat, and I think he's won us over already in terms of that, but he is not going to stop unless he wins this race, and Risto Capit, who's his teammate, is being put under pressure, let's be honest, and, well, we know how easy our Zach speed work. Whoever's in the lead gets the superior strategy, and at the moment that's going to be Risto Capit. He is going to get the prime strategy here. He'll come in first. He'll be able to get off those ultra softs the soonest, and he will be the first onto the new set of tyres. Of course, all the teams this race have gone all 2017 on us, Jake. They've brought the 3 softest compounds.
Very true. Taylor and Horrell, meanwhile, are battling away for 10th position a little further back. They are the closest battle on circuit at the moment. Ben Horrell trying to get the draft for Taylor. He's not quite close enough yet for my money to throw it up the inside of turn 1, though he is going to make massive ground in the draft as they come down the main straight once again. Ben Horrell trying to pick his way past Taylor. I think he's going to have his best chance into turn 3. But Horrell lines himself up nicely for a way through 1. Taylor gets a little bit crossed up. Duval is not far behind them either. I'm not sure whether he actually hit the wall or not when he went off the circuit a couple of laps ago. So Duval's car looks like it's relatively runnable in there in 12th position.
Oh, hang on, just noticed Lopez is out in all this. We were talking about
yes.
before. Brian Lopez has retired with suspension failure. That'll be an incident that he had somewhere. I'm going to go back and see if I can find that, because I'll be interested to see where he lost it. It doesn't seem to be that long ago. Within this lap, I think. Yeah, Alex Siebel could come in as well. Yeah, actually, Lopez just overshot it and stopped. So I think either something happened before when he decided not to, or whatever. Something may have happened, but either which way, we are going to see how this goes. I'm keeping an eye on those ACR Zach speed cars, because I don't know how long they can keep going on these ultra soft tyres, the softest compounds, of course, of all of the tyres. We have ultra soft, super soft, soft, medium, and hard, your 5 slick compounds.
Yep. It is pit stop o'clock, isn't it? One of these guys is going to come into the pits.
It's not. Siebel's not either.
No, they're still going on, but I would not be surprised if one or two of the others.
Costa is. He's very, very leftwards. He's very leftwards, as Costa.
Well, he's just lapped Helpat. Yeah, he's lapped Helpat. They're trying to force each other forward to see who's going to make the ultimate move to the pits, but so far nobody in the top 10 going into the pits yet, so that's going to be interesting. Risto Capit half a second in front of Siebel, and there is not much between these two. They've got to work very carefully about this. They're still trying to stretch a gap to Dennis Jordan. We haven't spoken much about Dennis Jordan in this race, but fair play to Dennis. The Evolution car, they're in 3rd position in front of Jarl Tyen. He's been keeping his lap times very solid and very consistent, looking good for that 3rd step of the podium. If anything happens to the 2 in front, he has got a chance of a victory here today as well. But look at Siebel now spitting out the exhaust fumes of Risto Capit as they work their way through the tight twisting section up by the castle and the architecture of the main city down here in Baku, the central suburb of Azerbaijan. Fantastic work from these two as they fly through those fast left sweepers.
Yeah, flying through the left. This is the fastest and the most, well, not the fastest, but definitely the most treacherous section of the track, because you're at such high speed, you've got low wing, you've got corners, you have to pace yourself, and that's what they've been doing so far. And I'm just wondering here, how close is Siebel going to get to Capit this time around?
I'm not sure he's going to make the move, but this will be forcing each other to go for the issue of when you make the pit stop. Is Siebel going to make the pit stop this time? He's tucking in behind Capit. Down the straight. No, still no pit stop from the two leaders. That's interesting. So they're able to make the tyres last a little bit longer. We are now 11 laps through. Jordan still hanging on from Tyan. And so we've got Jordan, Tyan, Costa, Kilk, Fournier. And is that going to be... Fournier's just lapped Hellpat there. Yes, so Cooper, then Gaia and Horrell. Any of the Red Bull Street Fighters going for the pits? Not yet. So it's still in the top 10. Stalemate at the moment. Siebel is starting to put Risto Capit under enough pressure that he's actually starting to pop out of his rear view mirrors now. Come on, Risto. Is this a race or is this a traffic jam?
I don't think it's either. I mean, well, at the moment, it's just a case of how good can Capit be, but I think we've got traffic coming up in the form of Tom Park. Well, he's going the other way, actually. I forgot the track runs side to side with each other. Reminds us a lot of some of the other tracks I've seen. But, yeah, Siebel is really putting pressure on Capit at the moment. He really is giving him some food for thought here. I don't know what the local cuisine's like in Azerbaijan, but I imagine it's very interesting indeed. And, well, Alex Siebel giving some of it to Capit at the moment.
0.4 of a second is the gap as Capit goes through the first of the fast left sweepers, through the second, plenty of curb on the inside of the apex, then tucks in for that tight left-hand sweeper again at the bottom end of the circuit. Now Siebel has still got him on the run, but it's interesting, towards those fast parts of the circuit on the start straight line, it's where Siebel is able to get an awful lot of his times. Now Tyan is reeling in Dennis Jordan. He seems to have gained some ground on him in the last couple of sectors as well. So Tyan has now got Dennis Jordan on the breakaway. Is he going to be able to make a move? Now, Capit and Siebel, pit lane entrance, still no change. Tyan is on the run of Dennis Jordan. Is this going to be for third position? The Edge Esports driver from Norway is going to try and put his weight on the inside. He is popping out to have a look. Dennis Jordan under no illusion that he's there, but he's not going to give way. Yeah, so Jordan is still pushing hard.
The problem there, he was topping out. He tops out at 340. That's the gearing stopping him from getting through. He cannot beat Jordan on raw straight line speed, and that's what you need here at Baku. So a setup issue for your Tyan, topping out at 340, but he'll have a go.
He's going to get anyway. He's going to drift fine. Is he going to be able to get hold of it again? And they are still side by side interlocking wheels. Oh my word, that's close between Tyan and Jordan. Somehow they get away from it. We've got Taylor in, we've got Ayres in. So those are the first two major players making pit stops. So Michael Ayres and Adam Taylor, the first to visit pit road. Meanwhile, Tyan versus Jordan for the moment settles itself out in Tyan's favour, I should say, sorry. Jordan is still there in fourth position. Capit and Siebel still nose to tail. Costa is alone in fifth position for the moment. Kilk has managed to stretch out a bit of a gap over Fournier, who's now got Alex Cooper to deal with. Flo Gaia is about 4 seconds down the road with his teammate Ben Horrell in the top 10. Much better from Red Bull Street Fighter this time.
Yeah, this is much better from them. They're both in the top 10. This is where they want to be, and improving, of course. Florian Gaia, we know how good he was back at Nolds, Gent. He's proving his goodness here. If they can get 7 and 8 perhaps in this race, that would be the ideal scenario for them, I feel, and that would be the best result possible for them as we enter. We're about to enter lap 14, and neither ACL Zaxpeed car pits, so they are, I reckon it's going to be a couple of laps now, based on just looking back at some previous data. Here comes Jordan. Here's the problem Tyan had. Here's the problem he had. Jordan was getting on him at a rate of knots. He just didn't get there quickly enough because he had so much overspeed compared to Tyan.
I think Siebel's going to go. I think Siebel's going to go for the lead here. Look, he's reeling in Risto Capit. He's got him on the straight and narrow. I wonder if he's going for the move. Look, Risto's defending. I think Siebel's going to try and get his teammate on the undercut. Siebel catches it. Goodness me, good save from Siebel. But that was the first sign in the 2018 season that these two are prepared to do wheel-to-wheel battle. Tyan and Jordan still together. Tyan has got Jordan breathing down his neck, but well, how about that for the inter-team rivalry of ACR Zaxby? That was the first indication that Capit versus Siebel, there's not going to be any favours given.
Yeah, he wants to, but there was no way that was going to work around the outside of that corner as well. It was all Capit, but he is going to push hard Alex Siebel now. He knows he can catch Capit, but he's probably ruined his tyres in the process, and that's not helped anything. And Jordan, Tyan, these two still going at it as well. I'll be intrigued to see how that gets on. Fournier under pressure from Cooper as well. We have plenty of battles going on here, Baku. You wouldn't think we're a quarter way through the race, Jake, but we are already a quarter of the way through this race, with Cabot leading from Siebel, Tyan, Jordan and Costa, your top 5. Now, are either of the ACR Zach Speed cars going to pit? That's what I'm interested in.
If I'm Risto Capit, I'm going to pit now. If I'm Risto Capit, because my teammate Alex Siebel has gone for an overtaking move. He's overcooked his rear tyres, so he's going to be struggling. Now, if Risto Capit can get in first and beat, he's not going to, but if I was Capit, I would beat it. I would go first. I would pit before Siebel, get on a fresher tyres, get a fast outlet there, and beat Siebel on the undercut. Meanwhile, Tyan is into the pit, so Tyan is the first major player to take the pit stop. Costa stays out. Kilke's coming in, though. So Kilk is in. Alex Cooper stays out. So too does Jeff Fournier. Now, interestingly, look, Horrell is in front of Gaia. How did that happen?
Well, yeah, he is actually. Sorry, he has gotten through. I don't know whether he overtook somewhere or what, but yep, we have a pit stop as well. Duvall in as well. So cars choosing now. Gomez in too. So we have several cars coming into the pits now. This is possibly the time. I'm looking at Risto Capit, though, and I'm thinking he is going as long as he can on these ultras to make Siebel go as long as he can on his ultras. He's just seen his cook his tyres and that missed braking opportunity, and he knows he's going to get first stop.
It's a very good point, actually. Risto Capit forcing Alex Siebel to go a little bit further over the line in terms of pit stops than he wanted to. So Risto Capit, the Estonian, is basically buying his ticket to top of the podium with this little bit of trickery here out on the circuit, still keeping him honest. Siebel is only about 1/10 of a second away from him in the sectors, but by being this aggressive, Risto Capit is forcing Alex Siebel to up his game. That's going to make him overwork the tyres. So Capit is actually going to look, Siebel, a massive tank stapper out of the tight left-hander before that long drag towards the first corner through these long sweepers. So Capit is putting Siebel onto the limit of his abilities here. This is fantastic and fascinating to watch.
He's riding on the pit now, I think. He's going to the very left. In fact, yep. I thought
Capit in
now.
Capit's got to pit now.
No,
yeah, Capit has got to pit at this point because he's got to basically put Siebel onto the back foot. So now Siebel's got to do the lap of his life out in front. Jordan, meanwhile, comes into the pits. Tyan is going to be the one to watch where he filters back out. Costa's in. Fournier stays out. So too does Cooper. But where is Tyan going to rejoin by comparison to Dennis Jordan? That's the real factor. Capit gets out fourth on the road, tucks in behind Cooper. Here comes Tyan. Where's Jordan? Oh, he's going to lose a lot of time. So Tyan going first has definitely given him good track position.
Yeah, definitely has. I'm looking at these tyres as well. It looks like Capit's come out on the ultra, so he's going to probably three-stop and use the supers at the very end because he can make these tyres last. He is doing a very good job here with tyre conservation, Risto Capit. And a lot of other drivers I've seen have gone for the supers rather than the ultras. So Capit knows something we don't.
What happened to Gaia on the way round? That's what I want to know, because I'm intrigued to figure out why Ben Horrell ended up in front of his teammate, as Horrell has been battling away with Taylor, battling away for position. He's made the move stick. Oh, so my apologies. It is Gaia fighting Taylor, because obviously Taylor has had his pit stop recently. So Gaia now making a bit of a duel go on there with Adam Taylor. Both of them have pitted of late. Peter Burlak is in there behind him. Goodness knows where he would have been had this race not gone against him at the start. But now Alex Siebel leading the way. Surely Siebel has got to pit this lap.
Left, I think.
Yeah, he is leading lap. This is going to be interesting. Now Siebel is going to rejoin in second place. There is no doubt about that in my mind. The big question, though, is how far back is he going to be? Oh, this is heaven sent for Risto Capit. He's got Alex Cooper on the slipstream. He could gain time down the straight here just by running in the slipstream, but Cooper's pitting. So Cooper's going to pit in, I think, by the look of it. No, he's not. So Cooper continues on. Capit's going to get the lead. So Capit and Cooper are going to fly past the pits. Fournier pits. Where is Siebel getting out? Yeah, look, he's going to be a good 3 or 4 seconds behind Capit. Great work from Capit. He has beaten his teammate in the pit stops.
Yeah, he has really. That staying out and forcing Siebel to stay out too, that worked. Horrell in, Hutchinson in, Fournier in, Feidek in too. All the cars in the world coming in now, and Bastian Pezer's going to benefit. He jumps up to 9th. I don't think he's pitted yet, though. Yeah, so he hasn't, so he'll have to come in. But yeah, Florian Gaia goes through as well. And yep, Gaia, I think, has now jumped Horrell, but starts to pit, of course. Feidek in, Milan in, coming out of the pits. this is kind of the optimum type of pit then, and I think we'll be seeing 2 or 3 stop strategies.
We're still not entirely sure what happened. I was trying to figure out what happened there, basically between Gaia and Horrell, why they swapped positions. Here we go again as Burlak goes up the inside of Hutchinson, and that's not going to happen. So Horrell has rejoined behind these two, battling away for position. Ben Horrell finds himself in 15th after the pit stops. And now Borja Milan has been given a stop-and-go penalty. Now, what is that in aid of? I'm not entirely sure what it is that he's done to warrant that penalty, but Milan has been given a stop-and-go penalty. Is that for speeding in the pit lane, maybe?
Must be.
Well, that's a big problem for the Epic driver. His teammate, conversely, is there in 8th position. At the end of this lap, surely Alex Cooper is going to pit in. He's got Siebel right underneath him. And look how close Tyan is. Look how close Tyan is to Alex Siebel out of the pit stops. The Norwegian may be able to overhaul Siebel as Cooper makes for the pits. But it's now Siebel versus Tyan. It's not an inter-team battle anymore. 2.8 seconds down the road from Capit. Siebel's got to shake off Jarl Tyan.
Yeah, Cooper in all this as well. Alex Cooper's come in. This will be to get off those ultras. Will he go on to a new set though? That's the question. Yes, he has. He's going to try the same. No, he's gone on to Super. Sorry, they changed a bit late there. So getting them out of the way now rather than Capit, who wants to stay on the best tyre.
So it's Capit, Siebel, Tyan, Jordan, Costa, Kilk, Fournier and Cooper once all of the pit stops have sorted themselves out. The last one in there to make the pit stops is Bastian Paisler, who has substituted at Adonis Engineering for Erhan Yayovski, the Macedonian, who's been having difficulties with hardware over the last couple of weeks. It was to actually stymied him a little bit last week at the World GTs at Sepang when he was competing for the Downforce Racing team. He should be there again on the grid for next week's race. There's still a spare seat in that second car, so we don't actually know who Erhan Yayovski's teammate will be there, but he's struggling at the moment to get his Super League program underway, which is a difficulty. But Bastian Paisler doing the good work as a super sub, no problem at all. Capit trying to stretch his legs, but how about this? Siebel is getting away from Jarl Tyan, and he is slashing Risto Capit's lead. He was 3 seconds up. That gap is now down to less than 2 seconds. Siebel is livid.
Yeah, I think he needs to get a move on. I think Capit has been playing it safe on those tyres to keep them going again. Siebel's been pushing as hard as he can on the harder compound. Oh, and yep, Ayers and Milan have had a do there. And I don't think Michael Ayers has lost any body panels, neither has Milan. They both seem to have gotten away with it, but that was still an incident there. That's not exactly going to help either driver, but yes.
Yeah, Ayers had a spin there. I think that was a spin from Ayers at turn 6. He rejoins the circuit. And, well, Milan had to bring the car to a complete and total standstill in order to avoid the contact. So, not the greatest of moments there from either of them. Risto Capit leads the way. Alex Siebel now 2 seconds back, so he's taken a second out of his team leader. Jarl Tyan is now 1.4 back from Siebel. This must be a bit of a hard moment to swallow for the Edge Esports team and for Jarl Tyan. Siebel so much faster as Adam Taylor goes for the pit. And Flo Guy is having a bit of a tussle at the moment for 10th position as well. Oh, no, sorry, that's Horrell. That is Horrell for 12th position. My apologies. Hutchinson there battling away. Peter Burlak has come up into 13th position. Is that on genuine pace? Has Burlak been able to get himself up into the pits over the course of the first run of stop? That's brilliant.
Burlak's yet to pit. That's the interesting thing as well.
So Burlak has yet to pit. He is there in 13th position, working his way forward. So from his point of view, he's already dropped to the back. From, I guess, from his way of thinking, there is nothing to lose because he's already down at the back. So, whoa, a big slide further back. That is Tom Parker, still struggling with that car that he's been in the wall once or twice, and he's struggling to resist Bastian Paisler. That was a big slide behind David Fine. Oh, into the wall! Into the wall goes Parker. Surely now that is game over for Tom Parker. What a disastrous race.
He's got it rounded. He's going to keep going, but he's lost his front wing. So that's going to be a trip to the pits either way.
Yeah, well, it's a real disaster for Tom Parker. This has not been the best of races from his point of view. His teammate, Dennis Jordan, still up in 4th position at present. But, well, that just shows you the contrast in fortunes. Meanwhile, Siebel is within 2 seconds of Risto Capit. Tyan has slipped to 2 seconds back. This is going to be a tough one for Jarl Tyan and the team to cope with, to know that the ACR Zaxby team are that much faster in a straight line.
Yeah, it seems to me, actually, from where I'm sitting, Siebel seems to have stopped gaining much time at all on Capit. He gained a lot in the early stages, but that seems to have dropped off now. They seem to be more equal in pace, and that's where the 2 seconds have come from. Capit's move earlier, just keeping Siebel out, has helped him. Yeah, he's only taken about 400s out of that sector.
So it's Capit, Siebel, Tyan, Jordan, Costa, Kilk, Fournier, Cooper, Duval, and Flo Geyer in the top 10 at the moment, from Hutchinson and Ben Horrell, Peter Burlak, Pedro Gomez, and in the final points paying position at the moment, it is the double world champion David Fidek in a battle at the moment with Michael Ayres. How the mighty have fallen. It's a tough start to the season for Nortian. Cooper in 8th, Fidek in 15th. There's some long faces at that squad so far, Josh.
Yeah, not being the best start of the season for Nortian at all, but we know David Fidek, he gets better towards the end of a race and better towards the end of the season. He could get some points back as the season progresses, but it's not been a good start of the season for them by any means. No, they just seem to have been usurped by these driver and team changes. I mean, we've got the likes of Capit and Siebel running right out front, Tyan running right out front, Costa doing brilliantly as well, Kilk and Parker continuing. I thought he would. He's coming into the pits there. But yeah, that most developed car, the Eval out up there in 6th as well. You got all these new variables, and Norton just don't seem to have kept up.
Yeah, great work from Tom Parker to get it back to the pits and keep the car flowing. In all fairness, he's worked incredibly hard all the way to get himself up to speed. The Evolution car is clearly a good one, because Dennis Jordan up there in 4th position making it work. Parker's not quite got up to speed with that, quite on the same level as Dennis Jordan as yet, but he's a veteran. He knows the Super League world. He knows how to get himself sorted out. I don't think it's going to be long before we see him on his A game again. Let's not forget that Parker was one of the drivers caught up in that first corner melee as the drivers tried to sort themselves out for position. But once again, going back to that first corner, first lap, that was the cleanest of the incidents that we've seen from the 3 championships at the start. Super Cup in particular last night was particularly hell-raising. Yeah, not bad from the Super Leagues, and only a few drivers really caught up with it. But already the attrition rate is coming into play here. We're only about just over a third of the way through the race, and we've lost Hoekstra, Klont, Tida, Lopez, and Hellpap. 23 left of the 28 that started, and I have a feeling we're going to a few more as well.
Yeah, a few more paps as well, and yeah, going to see how this goes. And well, I think Siebel actually is continuing to lose time to Cabot. There's not much, but he's within 2 seconds rather than 1 now. So he is dropping time little by little. And I think he needs to work on something to get faster. Otherwise, he's going to continue to run into problems here. We'll see what the split is on the start-finish line. In fact, he's dropped 2 tenths.
Wow, that is interesting. And that's a bit of a change compared to what we expected from Siebel. I wonder if Siebel has suddenly been told by the team, look, you are chewing up your tyres. You're not going to make it to your next pit stop if you keep pushing Risto Capit. Siebel is a race winner in waiting, and he's desperate to try and get himself on the top step of the podium, and he knows he's got a car and a setup that's fast enough to beat Risto Capit on pure pace. But that mistake when he was trying to get past Risto Capit and hurry him up, that's really hampered his race strategy, because it's only lost him about half a second or so, but it's really compromised him long term. Now Burlak is having a bit of a battle with Pedro Gomez. Gomez goes right. Now that's interesting. Can he out-drag him around the outside? Yes, he can. Gomez doing a cracking job on Peter Burlak in the slipstream there, down the main straight. So really good work indeed there from Gomez and Burlak as they battle away for position. But yeah, just to come back to Siebel, I wonder if the team is telling him just to ease up a little bit, because he's probably giving his tyres no end of difficulties at the moment, just putting himself under pressure to close up on Risto Capit. He doesn't want to ruin and compromise his strategy by focusing too much on the race victory. He's got to make it to the next pit stop without losing time to Jarl Tyan in 3rd.
He does, yes, he has to make it to the next one without losing to Jarl Tyan, and well, with 21 laps down, you know, the fact he's not really gaining much time on Capit might be a bit of a problem to him. But as you rightly say,
it is worth pointing out, Wopke Hoekstra has made the point now that he's sat on the pit wall to watch the rest of the race, that Siebel is on a harder compound of tyre. So different strategies between the two of them as well. We haven't even picked up on that. Capit on a different set of compounds compared to Siebel. So the fact that Siebel is still within 2 seconds of Risto Capit, is this a race-winning strategy from Siebel? Is he going to keep Capit honest and go for a faster set later in the day? Siebel is playing the long game here after all.
His problem is he's not catching Capit on the ultra soft tyre, so he knows, Risto knows he's going to have to go to another set of ultras. Alex is going to go to another set of ultras as well, but the problem is Siebel can't currently catch him, so you know, you've got that to consider as well, that Siebel might be faster on the ultras, but we saw what he did before. He held him behind and made him wait and used the tyres up. Siebel seems to be getting through his tyres faster than Ristel, so that might not work out for him if his tyres die off before he can get through past Cabot.
Well, Yarltine's got to be thinking these guys having an interesting battle. Maybe a victory might not be far away from the likelihood after all. So just watching Jeff Fournier losing the car a little bit there through turn 4 as he just got the back end crossed up a little bit. Manages to keep the car pointing in the straight line though. It's really interesting to see how these different race strategies are coming into play. This is really the first time we've seen it in its purest form on a street circuit, because we had all sorts of things going on at Albert Park. But this being Baku, it's always going to be a tough one. It's probably the most intense street circuit on the calendar, because you're obviously flying through some of the corners flat on the throttle at 6th gear, pumping nearly 170 miles an hour through some of those apexes. And Alex Siebel trying to chase down Risto Capit. The gap between them, 2.2 in the last sector as they come across the line this time. Gap has not changed much. It's only gone up to 2.4. Yarltine is still within touching distance. This race is still in the second half going to spice up.
Yeah, it's still going to get interesting even in the second half of this race. We're 23 laps down. We're on lap 24 in this 51 lap race. We're just under halfway there. And, well, Yarltine must still be within a shot of this second and first place battle. I mean, Captain is still pulling time out on these ultras over Siebel, and he's showing no signs of stopping. So he's doing something like he's using these ultras to great effect. I'm wondering why Siebel didn't copy his strategy.
It's a good point, actually, because Siebel could really have responded to that little blip, but maybe Alex knows something we don't. Up in front of them, they've actually got traffic to deal with, because that's Tom Parker, who's been having a topsy-turvy day at the office. Now, he's in the Evolution car, which is... as many people has quoted, is basically the junior arm in all but name of the ACR Zakspeed operation. There's a lot of intricate battles between those two teams to come over the course of the year, but Parker and Jordan very much touted as future ACR Zakspeed racers themselves. Now, Parker was obviously the test driver of what is now known as ACR Zakspeed last year, so he'll have a good relationship with Risto Capit. He'll see the leader behind him. He'll see Alex Siebel too. He shouldn't cause them too much of a difficulty, but where the leaders catch them is going to be the interesting factor. Now, Siebel is going to have to wait a little bit. Oh, Parker's out of the race by the look of it.
Yeah, I think he might just have disconnected there, unfortunately. Yeah, well, that's going to put his hopes of getting position back. I think he has just disconnected from the race there, and that is unfortunate. He might come back, but he'll be very far down the order away from when he does. Yep, disconnection for Parker. That is unfortunate, and well, it saves Russell Capit some bother if there is an upside.
Flo Gaia in the top 10 for Red Bull Street Fighter. We've just been watching his onboard around the far end of the circuit. We're now looking at Adam Taylor, what we certainly were for a short time. His teammate Bastian Paisley running quite well as a super sub just outside the points, trying to give Michael Ayres some hassle, and his teammate Adam Taylor trying to shake him off. It's interesting how the Adonis race has sort of collapsed a little bit. They were in there with the Red Bull Street Fighters in the early phase of the race, and now they just seem to have got themselves not in the positions they wanted to be in. They have lost sight of the points, and it's going to be a long way up from here. Now, Burlak has finally come into the pits on lap 24. So Burlak will pit in from the lower end of the points. He's going to see Ayres, Taylor and Paisley all sail past him. I'm not sure if Thomas Hinz is going to get through as well, actually. It's going to be a bit tight. But Peter Burlak should go out of the pits in relative speed. No, Hinz is going to get him through that first corner, I think, because Burlak's going to have to ease up. Oh, no, he's not. I was wrong. So Burlak is going to beat Hinz out of the pits, but only by about 2 car lengths.
There isn't much in it, no, and Burlak does get out ahead, but Hinz is well within his chances of getting back into this race indeed. And, well, I'm just looking at Michael Ayres, just watching here as we come into a corner. I'm just watching here. Apparently, according to our cameraman Garrett DeVries, he changed lines twice somewhere. Not sure where that happened, but I think you're only allowed to change line once. So if any of the people he was racing felt aggrieved by that, they might file that with a DC.
It's interesting that Taylor and Paisley appear to have swapped positions as well. So Taylor's now into 16th place. Paisley's up into 17th. Now we're being told that that's because Paisley made a little bit of an error, a driver error, we're told, at turn 1, and that's allowed him through. So that's not due to team orders. Oh, Paisley has hit the wall. on the far side of that sweeper. He manages to keep going, but that will definitely cause him some damage. He strikes the wall again on the exit through the left-hander. So Paisler is definitely compromised. He'll have taken some big damage there.
Yeah, he'll have taken a knock there or two. I don't see any suspension damage on the car. I think he's gotten away scot-free in that regard. But he is going to knock his confidence in the tyres, perhaps, if he's having problems now. No damage, but yeah, may well have cooked the tyres a little bit in the off. And yeah, as Alex Siebel, I think, knows at this point not to cook his tyres. He's still losing time to
Ayres to Taylor. Ayres on the inside. Taylor trying to come around the outside. They bang through turn one. Ayres and Taylor side by side. And Paisler trying to get a move on the inside of his teammate there as well. Taylor, goodness me, that was more Colin McRae than Max Verstappen. Power sliding through turn two as he was on the lock stops there. Got the car straight and narrow. Now Ayres comes off the line. He does not want Taylor to get the slipstream as well. Meanwhile, Fournier has finally got some challenge from Alex Cooper. Cooper has caught him back up again, and this is where the leaders could get more spicy.
This could get very interesting very quickly indeed. And Fournier, of course, his last pit was 17. We're not expecting him in for about 7 laps. Roughly the same for Cooper, so this is where things can get interesting. Same tyre compound too, so it's not like Cooper's getting in masses in the corners basically due to the tyres. He's got to work for this if he wants it, but I think right now he's just out of DRS range. No, he might just be in it actually. Yep, gets the DRS, so he'll be able to mount a challenge soon.
Well, the interesting factor now is that Alex Siebel still only 2.3 seconds back from Risto Capit on that harder Tyan has dropped down to 7 seconds. Well, the gap has opened up to 7 seconds between Capit, the leader, and Jarl Tyan. It doesn't look as though Cooper has quite got the speed differentiation to work with Jeff Fournier here and get a move on him. There is a bit of a top out, and it looks as though we've got that battle between Ayres and Taylor for the final point, continuing on down at the far side of the circuit. They're coming across the start-finish line. Taylor's got Ayres lined up. This one should be fairly straightforward, but not if Ayres has got anything to do with it.
Yeah, Michael Ayres is going to put up a fight here in P16. He's going to go for it into one. Locks up big style, though. That'll be wear on the tyres. And it looks like Taylor may now have this consolidated for the time being. At least a point for Adonis as Taylor moves into 15th place. And that is very well played indeed. I just looked Alex Siebel's gap down to 1.9 from 2.5. He's found something somewhere. Don't know where he's found it like, but he has found something. I'm going to check where that is as Fournier and Cooper go in a battle again. These two, 7 and 8, battling it out at the moment and going for it and seeing who can get into that P6. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how this goes.
I'm not entirely sure how this battle between Capit and Siebel is going to fare. We're watching Fournier and Cooper still, but Siebel getting that gap to within 2 seconds. Was that a mistake from Capit, or has Siebel found something a little bit more in terms of the speed? We were told by Wopke Hoekstra earlier on that Siebel is on a harder compound compared to Risto Capit. So if he's able to get that much closer to him over the course of this latter stage of proceedings, it's a different strategy these two are playing. Maybe Siebel does have what it takes to win this race. He's going to think about it and go, right, a little change in strategy is needed here to get one over on Risto Capit. Maybe he can get the job done. Meanwhile, Tom Parker has told us the reason that his race ended was actually because of the power cut, would you believe? It wasn't just an ordinary disconnect. That was a complete and total systems failure of his entire personal space.
Needs to phone up his electric company and sack a lot of them. Tell him it's not good enough. I'm having a race here of importance. Don't cut my power.
Right Kilk is under some pressure now because Fournier and Cooper are closing in. A bit of a puff of smoke up the road as Ricardo Costa locks his tyres. But Right Kilk could get some pressure from Fournier and Cooper within the next couple of laps. Kilk is only 1.8 seconds up the road from Fournier. Siebel, meanwhile, has got the gap down to 1.5 seconds. That is absolutely astonishing if he's on harder tyres. So Capit is definitely not safe out in front yet.
He can't be pushing as hard as possible here, Capit. There's no way he can be doing that. I mean, it was sector 2 where Siebel got the time done. That's the fast section near the end. So he must have something to do, but he's just lost 2 tenths to Capit again there in that 3rd sector. So drive out the corner seems to be, and general grip seems to be Capit's strong point, as Siebel's not much quicker there, but it's the faster areas for whatever reason where Siebel's winning.
Well, can we get confirmation that Siebel is definitely on a harder compound
He is on
to
the,
Risto Capit? He is, isn't he?
on the red walls compared to Capit's.
Yeah. So that is absolutely incredible. This race is very intriguing between the two ACR Zaxby drivers. They've had a little bit of a tussle on the racetrack. Siebel just sizing up Risto to see if he can make the move. He clearly couldn't, so he's gone, right, we'll outfox him another way. And this is going to be fascinating to see how these two deal with their differing strategies. And this means, of course, that with Siebel on a harder compound from Capit, he'll be able to make his tyres last a little bit longer as well. Now, we've got more battles for Michael Ayres, as he's got Bastian Paisler to run around the circuit with. Now, they've just lapped Dino Paolini, but Ayres has got Paisler in the slipstream. Bastian Paisler's going to have a run on him. Here he goes, side by side, and Paisler's got him nice and early.
Yeah, Burlak's not far back either of these two. This is definitely getting interesting here. Peter Burlak, Michael Ayres, Bastian Paisler, all very close together in this battle here. But speaking of close, lovely.
Oh, contact! Sorry, Ayres has crashed at turn 2. Ayres has crashed at 2, and that is definitely a disaster for Michael Ayres. How on earth did the two of them behind him sustain the reactions of that without damage? Ayres just got it a little bit too far on the inside, clipped the wall, then lost the back end of the car, managed to snap it back. He managed to snap again. I think he's got damage on both of them, so that's a big problem. Jarl Tyen pitting. I do not know how Adam Taylor and Bastian Paisler, Bastian Paisler and Peter Burlak, avoided him. That is absolutely incredible reactions. But as you say, Jarl Tyen is the first of the leaders to go for a second pit stop. Now, he's going to rejoin just behind Ricardo Costa. That's not bad for Jarl Tyen, actually. He's only going to lose about, I'm just trying to do the math here, he's lost about 11 seconds in total from that stop. So that is not bad at all. And Tyen is actually going to have another opportunity on Costa. Meanwhile, Florian Gaia has caught up to Liam Duval in the battle. Cooper versus Fournier. Cooper's going to get Fournier on the inside line into 3, and he's got him.
I was about to say, he was looking close before, but now he's gotten it. Jeffrey Fournier loses out to Alex Cooper. Cooper manages to get himself into such a position, and well, with 57% of the race, this is lap 30 of 51. We're seeing Jarl Tyen and Ricardo Costa close as well. They are also going for it as well, and this could be interesting to see. I'm actually getting a message from Mike Phillips, one of the owners of Drake Racing, is saying that it could be that we see a lot of people spinning near the end of the race if they're putting the brakes to the rear to compensate for brake fade. And of course, that's a big thing here at Baku, with it being a very intensive circuit on brakes. So that could be something.
I was told by a couple of people before this race began that there's going to be a few drivers, particularly with the Martex engines, that'll have to be very careful with fuel this time, because a lot of drivers are having to resort to, in race modes, they were doing testing, a lot of them having to resort to fuel saving modes. Here comes Tyen up the inside of Costa. So Tyen goes down the inside of Costa. From Ricardo Costa's point of view, there isn't much percentage in battling with him, so he lets Jarl Tyen go. Just to consideration, once again, there were problems for several drivers in terms of brake problems as well. So we could see some brake issues towards the end of the race, and we could see a few teams lifting and coasting in terms of their fuel strategy. We may be seeing a little bit of that as the racing develops in this second half of the race itself, as Flo Gaia pits in from 10th position, so hands over another position in the points to Ben Horrell, his teammate, but it's not going to be long before Ben comes into the pits. Now, we reckoned that pit stops between sort of lap 10 to lap 16 would be a 2-stop strategy. This would be the second half of that strategy for a lot of drivers, so I think Flo Gaia was on the faster compounds. Now he's going to go onto the harder compound. Yes, just to confirm, he is now on the harder compound, so I think that's the last time you should see Flo Gaia in the pits today. He'll have 21 laps on the green. So it's worth pointing out that we've got the ACRs out in front. The gap between the two of them now is only 1.4. But Dennis Jordan in net 4th position. Let's not forget the fact that Jarl Tyen has pitted already, but a net 4th position for Dennis Jordan. He's 10 seconds back from Capit and Siebel. So the ACR cars have been chipping away at that lead beautifully. Alex Siebel still only 1.5 seconds behind Risto Capit. Right now, my money on the victory is on Alex Siebel.
I don't know. I'm going to say Risto myself if it were me. I just think he's using these ultras perfectly. He got about 16 laps with the first time. He should be coming in within the next couple of laps. And Siebel, I imagine, will follow not long after. The gap is 1.5. And you got to remember...
Fournier on the inside. Sorry, Fournier on the inside. Down the main straight. Fournier and Cooper side by side. Cooper's trying to keep Fournier at bay. Round the outside. They both get a swiggle on. And Fournier's through on the inside there. That was close. Both men very nearly ending up as chicken fodder on the outside of the pit wall there. And so Fournier and Cooper going to battle, having a great tussle as Duval there in 10th position pits. Ben Horrell pits in from 11th as well, so he will drop back. And now, where is Liam Duval going to filter out in relation to Florian Gaia? That's a crucial one because Gaia is trying to catch up to Duval, and Fidek is going to be the next on the road. So Duval has beaten Gaia out of the pits very conclusively indeed.
Yeah, and speaking of pits, Alex Siebel 1.1 behind Cabot now as he comes closer to his pit stop. He's found time again. Something, obviously, he knows something we don't, but remember, he was right. It was about this gap before when he came out behind afterwards. So if Cabot pits first again, which I think he's about to do here, as he is leaning left, he's coming in now. Into the pits comes Cabot. Siebel has to stay out. Cabot knows he can gain time if he goes ultras again.
So it's going to be an interesting one. Now, we think that Alex Siebel, we're being told that Alex Siebel is going to have another 4 to 5 laps on these tyres. So this could be very interesting indeed. Can he come back out onto the circuit again after his pit stop?
He's gone under the softer compound. I don't think he plans to pit again.
No, dear. That's a big mistake if that's the case.
I don't think it is.
Well... Very interesting.
If he's trying to two-stop, this is perfect.
I suppose, yeah.
Think about it. He was able to make the ultras last 16. He'll be able to make these last 20 easily.
Fair enough. Good point. I wasn't sure if that was going to be in the plan or not, but yes, Capit has pulled off a bit of a masterstroke there. It's now up to his teammate, Alex Siebel. What can he do? But we are predicted that he's got another 4 to 5 laps left out on the circuit in the lead. So it is a very difficult one. Now we've got Right Kilk being caught again by Fournier and Cooper. I thought these two would hold each other up in their battle, but in fact, Kilk is losing a little bit of ground, and that's meaning that Fournier and Cooper are able to close up. As into the pits comes Pedro Gomez for his second pit stop. But Kilk, Fournier, Cooper, 6th, 7th, 8th. That is the battle at the moment.
That's the major one to keep an eye on at the moment for sure. And while Alex Siebel may be in the lead at the moment, he's got a pit, of course. We remember that. Risto Capito, good to be third, but he's just been held in traffic, I believe, behind a market. So it's going to help. It's going to halt his progress slightly. But Siebel, I imagine, is going to stay out for. Actually, no, he's leading very. He's coming in. He's coming in this lap.
Oh, that is interesting.
I thought he could have stayed out. I would have thought he would have stayed out.
Wow. It looks like Siebel is going to get jumped by Jarl Tyan if things go as they are, because Tyan is close enough. Well, Capit's going to take the lead, no problem. Tyan is going to jump Siebel.
He's got ultras.
Oh, I don't think this is going to work. I'm not sure this is going to work for Alex Siebel. He's going to lose time.
He's got to go 18 laps.
Well, maybe he's got enough laps to keep it together, but look at that. He pulls out. Now, that is interesting. He doesn't manage to get jumped by Tyan. They have calculated it to perfection. Now, surely it is a straight fight for the victory between Capit and Siebel. Oh, and we've got Kilk and Fournier battling away. Fournier up side of Bright Kilk for 6th position. Whoa, both of them struggling to make those tyres work the distance out of turn 2. Cooper has now got a run on Kilk. If he's got enough speed, he should dive up the inside of turn 3 and make the move stick. And Cooper is going to really find himself frustrated there. Kilk is squirreling out of the turn. Look, he's trying to get back on the power quickly, but the tyres are dying, and he has got to try and find a way to get away from Cooper. Cooper giving him a massive amount of pressure. The Nordian, again, just like in 2017, seems to come good in the latter stages of the race. The drivers are good at looking after the car. Cooper has a look into the inside of the right-hander. You're never going to make that stick, but look, he's just hemorrhaging time to Jeff Fournier, who's getting away.
Yeah, Fournier getting away, but look who's getting closer. Siebel and Cabot, close as they've been. Half a second now. That's the closest they've been since they went for it before. And I think this time, Alex Siebel, you might have been right after all, Jake. He might have a crack at this race win this time around. Remember, Cabot on the preferred strategy, but that's not going to stop Siebel. Gets the DRS, he's going to get it at the activation point, opens it up, he's just going to fly by, he's going to cruise into second.
Jordan pits for the lead, so this is for the lead of the race. Siebel takes the lead from Risto Cabot, his teammate, and Alex Siebel hits the front for the first time since Melbourne. Amazing stuff from Alex Siebel. He's jumped it, and we've got Cooper battling away for Kilk on the inside line. Kilk decides to pit, so he alleviates the pressure. Costa's in, Kilk is in. Jeff Fournier has got so far up the road compared to Alex Cooper as a result of all of that. Dennis Jordan feeds back into the mix after his pit stop. Quite a long way back from Jarl Tyen. Jarl Tyen is not out of the dead water either. He's only 2.4 behind Alex Siebel in the lead.
Yeah, he's not that far, and Tyen's on the Supers as well, which is the same tyre compound as Cabot. Siebel trying to make a gap now. I think he's already got about a second on Cabot, and yeah, he has. Look at it, he's flying away. But my question is, he's got to make these tyres last now. If he's pushing them as hard as he can, we saw him having problems before when he hit the brakes and trying to go for Cabot. He's got to keep this under control. He's got to push and keep it under control. If he can't keep it under control, he can lose time.
Well, I think what Alex Siebel is currently battling with at the moment is trying to make sure he's got the traffic to deal with in front of him at exactly the right parts of the racetrack. If he can measure where the traffic is, he can actually do himself a bit of a service, because he's got Borja Milan in front of him in 19th place. If he can get behind these slower cars on the straights and just sit behind them and cannon his way through, that's going to exacerbate the tyre life. It's going to make them last a bit longer. He'll also save a little bit on fuel as well, because he'll just cut through the air a lot neater. You see, that's not what he actually wants. He wanted to follow behind Borja Milan for a couple of seconds more if he had an opportunity to. Milan getting out of the way. Milan just gets right out of the way of Capit. This is actually advantage Capit now, because Siebel could really have done with following. Now Tyen is getting into the mix as well. So Tyen in third position.
Fournier. Well for him.
No.
I think we may have lost him.
Yeah, Jeff Fournier's gone.
Oh, he's there. He's back. He's still in it, but his ping is massively high. I think he's just realised what's going on. And, well, he's dropping positions as we speak. We'll keep an eye on Fournier, but
Fournier in the pits.
Could be an internet connection issue.
Yeah, Cooper's in the pits. Fournier's in the pits, but he's lost time to Cooper Big Style. Oh, well, that's a real headache for Jeff Fournier. Duvall goes through. Gaia goes through. Hutchinson's going to get through him as well. So too is David Fidek. This is not the way Jeff Fournier wanted things to go. He's got major connection issues as Jeff Fournier. He's really struggling. You can see the lag. I think Fournier's going to have to call it a day.
Oh, I almost went into a Red Bull car there. Yeah, this is pretty. I think it's actually stabilised now. And he's ready to rejoin in front of Kilk. So maybe just, I don't know how, but it's put him back in the right place. It's put him back in the right place. He's where he needs to be in all this. And that's good news. So
look at Siebel. He is 1.9 seconds clear of Capit. This is how desperately he wants to win this race. I wonder if he is going on qualifying laps now to get away from Risto Capit. Will he pit one more time? Is a three-stopper the plan for Alex Siebel? Because he is absolutely destroying these tyres by stretching out over ahead of Risto Capit. Is he going to go for a three-stopper here?
Well, Capit was only half a second slower last one by half a second last lap, but remember, Siebel just set the fastest lap the previous lap, so he's on something, Siebel, but there's no way he can make these tyres last. As Olsen retires, no way he can make these tyres last if he's pushing that hard. It just isn't possible. It shouldn't be possible.
I think this is a three-stop strategy from Alex Siebel. I think he's trying to get away from Capit and see if he can stretch it out, because if he can pull out a 10-second gap, then he's got a chance to beat Capit. Now, here comes Kilk.
I don't think 10 seconds are going to be enough for myself, but Kilk down the inside of one, as we lose Ayres as well. We lose Olsen, and then we lose Ayres.
Oh, look at Fournier coming back at right Kilk. Trying to get his way through in turn two. Doesn't quite make it stick. But yes, we've lost Olsen, and we've lost Michael Ayres. Michael Ayres bidding for the points today. It's not going to happen now as Fidek pits in from 12th position. But Alex Siebel is stretching out the gap again. Capit's now 2.1. But, well, yes, I think you're right, actually, because Capit has responded to his teammate. I think you're right now. Siebel was going for qualifying laps to get away from Risto Capit. Capit is keeping him honest. Look, I think Siebel's had to back down. I think they've done the calculations and figured out, Alex, you can't keep pushing this hard. you're not going to be able to beat him out of the pits. If you want to win this, you're going to have to be conservative, mate.
Yeah, I thought as much. Cabot's going to have more tyre life in it. Dennis Jordan's actually just done the fastest lap of 38.9 on those ultras. This has become a fastest lap contest now, but I just thought from the start, Siebel cannot push like absolute Bruce Almighty for 18 laps and expect, as he gets caught behind traffic, he cannot expect to make those tyres last for 18 on maximum attack. He's going to have to back down at some point, lose time at some point, and if Cabot stays within a couple of seconds, he's going to be there, because if he has to pit, he's going to lose 20, he's got to gain 10 again. It's Cabot's got to worry about his own tyre wear towards the end of the life as well, but...
And Jarl Tyen. Yeah, Jarl Tyen in third position is only 2 seconds behind him, and Jarl Tyen is not pushing that hard right now. He's looking after the tyres. Jarl Tyen is keeping the long game working here, as now we've lost John. Who else have we lost now from the race? Well, we've got 20 cars left running this race. So we've got Siebel, Capet, Tyen. I think we've lost Jean-Pierre Halpap, so Halpap is gone. So we've got Hoekstra, Klont, Tida, Lopez, Halpap, Parker, Ayres, and Olsen all out of the race at this point. Fournier still trying to shake off Cooper in their battle for 6th position. Kilk is starting to stretch away a little bit. We've got a battle between 13th to 14th. That's Gomez and Burlak still glued together, those two, with Pedro Gomez trying his best. Now, Capet has actually really struggled in the traffic in that last sequence. He lost about 0.4 of a second. Now, the biggest problem that causes is not only can he, well, he's lost a bit of time to Siebel in the lead, but he's also lost quite a bit of time to Jarl Tyen, who's only 1.5 seconds back. If Tyen gains another half second, he'll be within the DRS zone. That could change things big time.
It could affect things in England on top speed alone. You know, at the moment, they have the speed advantage to ACR, so it's going to need to be Tyen getting the DRS to get past Cabot, you believe, but he has dropped to 3 seconds behind Siebel as we see Fournier once again, and Cooper down the straight. I mean, he wants this, doesn't he, Alex Cooper?
Yeah, he's very hungry. He's breathing down his neck as they come off the final flick onto the long straight, and Cooper's definitely going to have him here as they go down the straight. There's no issues between them. He's got him on the slipstream. He'll pass him before the line. Here they come. It's all about whether Fournier is going to continue the attack into turn 1. Will he get him on the undercut as Cooper drifts sideways? He doesn't, though. So Fournier is still right with him, and he's going to have another crack into 3. So Cooper needs to get turn 2 just right. Fournier gets a good exit as well. So these two are going to blast down the straight. Now they've got Right Kilk just up the road, but Fournier is no longer close enough to Cooper to throw it up the inside of 3. Maybe on the last lap he'd try it, but certainly not when there's only 75% completed. Now, Nordsian has a higher top speed but lower gearing, so when you consider the fact that Jeff Fournier is going to struggle to overhaul him here, and even in the DRS zone, that's definitely something worth taking into consideration. As a result of Capet struggling, he's really struggling. He's dropped to 3.4 seconds behind Siebel now, and Tyen is only 1.2 away. This race is about to turn up the dial again.
I don't think Cabot's actually that much slower than it was before. I think it's just Siebel being extraordinarily quick. He's been consistently in the 39.8s and 39.7s. He's pushing it almightily quick. I don't think Cabot's really backed down that much, although, yep, he's managed to match the time by 3/10. So I don't think it's really Cabot making mistakes as such. It's just Siebel being quick. But at the same time, if he's pushing them that hard, he's going to come into problems later in the tyre's life. I reckon he won't have to stop again, but he will result in a lot less available grip, and Cabot could use that to his advantage.
See, Cabot and Tyen have got plenty of experience keeping this on the long game. They have got plenty of experience of working their tyres to the end of the stint. Siebel is still very new to Super League. Let's not forget that, as Fournier gets very close to Cooper, who defends into turn 1 again, and there's Fournier getting him on the undercut. I was just going to say, Siebel is still new to the Super League game and still new to keeping his tyres going the full distance, having come up from Super Cup when it wasn't as big an issue. Now it is, so Siebel pushing very hard indeed. Cooper still trying to shake off Fournier, and Flo Gaia has got some attention from Mark Hutchinson, but so far it looks as though we're going to see both of the Red Bull Street Fighters in the points, and that's going to be a sigh of relief from the entire team if that happens. Hutchinson's still pushing Gaia, Jeff Fournier is still pushing Alex Cooper, Capit is now 3.9 seconds, but look, Tyan is closing him in. Has Tyan suddenly dropped the hammer?
He looks within a second to me. It looks very close between being in the second and not. We'll see if he gets the DRS or not as he comes down the start-finish straight.
He's got it.
I don't think he does. Not looking from where I'm sitting.
Oh, fair enough. Yes, sorry. I thought he had got DRS open. So, no, he's not quite within a second. You're right. It was a couple of hundredths of a second difference there. That was what made the difference count there. So, without that DRS, in a straight line, the distance between the two of them down that straight is the difference is about 0.2 of a second over the straight. Now, that is pretty incredible to consider. So we've got Siebel in front of Capit by 4 seconds very nearly. Tyan, Jordan, Costa, Kilk, and here we go again. Cooper versus Fournier down the main straight. Fournier's definitely got the drag on him this time. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Cooper's going to have straight line speed. Fournier's ducked out of the draft. He's going to need to cut across early. He's done that. So Fournier takes over 7th place from Cooper.
345 kilometers an hour he's doing in that straight line there. That is pretty quick. And see Gaia there as well has gotten past on Hutchinson, so up into the 10 there.
Oh, Hutchinson tried to commit to the inside and then suddenly realised, I'm not going to get him, am I? Slammed on the brakes, and how he didn't lock up is pretty incredible. He just about held that one together. Siebel has extended the gap again to Capit. 4.1 seconds is now the gap. Capit, Tyan. Oh, no. Back again. Hutchinson makes the move on the inside of turn 3, and this time he gets Gaia. So this time he gets him. The Red Bull Street Fighter goes down to 11th place. And with Liam Duval not far up the road, Mark Hutchinson is having a great run for the flag-to-flag team. These guys could end up solidly in the top 10.
Yeah, they could end up solidly in the top 10 if they keep this up for sure. And, well, speaking of solidly, Tyan is not solidly in the top position for DRS here. But at the moment, at least, yep, he's losing those 0.2 to Capit. That's the speed diff the ACR car has. As I'm looking in the comments, actually, we have a Rudy Van Buren watching, of course. Obviously, last year's champion, a big fan of Superleague.
Can't stay away.
Can't stay away, but he says he thinks Siebel's tyres are going to be fine. He thinks those tyres are going to be fine.
How many times are Jeff Fournier and Alex Cooper going to battle away? They're still having a little bit of a tussle, although it looks as though Cooper's made a little bit of a... Yeah, Cooper's made a little bit of a mistake at the end of that lap there, because I thought he might have had an opportunity to go for him, but he seems to have dropped back a little bit. That might be enough to break the deadlock for Jeff Fournier to get away from Cooper and start focusing on right Kilk. But again, that focus between Capit and Tyan is that 0.2 of a second that Tyan is losing down the main straight. You just cannot help it. In the midfield section, at this part of the course, Tyan is able to make up quite a considerable amount of distance on Capit. So Capit is obviously being conservative, looking after the tyres. The thing is, he doesn't want what happened at Melbourne to repeat itself. So he wants to make sure he's got the best tyres at the end of this race. So he's not pushing any harder than he has to here. Jarl Tyan is giving him the hurry up. He's going to be closer to him this time than he's ever going to get. He will get DRS this time without any shadow of doubt, because the gap between them is only 0.7 of a second. But as you say, Josh, I don't think 0.7 of a second is going to be enough for him to overhaul him on pure pace, because he still has that deficit even with DRS.
Yeah, there is still a deficit to be got, but DRS does help. He is going to get it this time. He's going to up his speed, doing 335. Remember, I think he's topping out on gearing at 340. Yeah, he's barely keeping up with Capit without.
Yeah, even with that, even with the DRS, he's really struggling to stay on the same pace. That is the difference between the Martex engine and the Quasar at the moment. Really interesting to see, although... Absolutely, it is a lot down to the setup, which ACR Zack Speed are very good at, of course. They do know how to get their cars set up. My inside knowledge tells me that the Martex engines will have to be very careful with their fuel load. So maybe the reason we're seeing Capit drop in pace just a little bit compared to Siebel is he reserving fuel before the end of this race? Siebel going at it hammer and tongs, might not be pushing... Oh, my apologies. So we're talking about Valiants, are we? Not Martex. So they've still got to focus a little bit on fuel loads for this one. But it is going to be a difficult one for the Martex engines. I've been told that they're going to be very hungry on the fuel. So that could be an interesting factor towards the end of this race as well. We've got to keep that in focus.
Yeah, that's going to be focused on as well, because those Valiant engines are more thirsty than the others. Every other team has gone for fuel consumption, Valiant went for power. That's why Tyan can't keep up, because they've just gone for that much extra power upgrades. But Yeah, going to be interesting to see because they will have to watch the fuel. And if Siebel is fueled or Cabot's fueled, big race over for them. And it will probably happen near the end of this race. But at the moment, if all goes to plan, Alex Siebel's going to run away with this. Look how far he is now, 4.5 seconds. And if his tyres are fine, which as this race progresses, I'm becoming more and more certain they will be, then he should have this by a mile as Taylor comes in.
Right, the leading Martex engine on the track at the moment. 7th place man, Jeff Fournier, just in front of fellow Martex user Alex Cooper. Now, that battle has been cooking up very nicely and brewing for the last 12 laps or so. It'll be interesting to see if these two can keep their fuel loads at bay so that they can get to the finish while still trying to keep in touch with Right Kilk. Kilk is not going to have that same sort of difficulty, I don't think, because the Valiant engine, which is very similar to that in the ACR Zackspeed car, is not going to have that same fuel hunger that some of the other engines have got. So I think he should be all right, Right Kilk. But Fournier and Cooper will want to try and beat him. And I'm not so sure they're going to get their chance to ultimately have the pace to do that. We're on to lap 44 of 51, 8 to go.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that far along since we started this race. And yet we're 8 to go from the end of it now. We're 84% of the way through. And it really doesn't feel like it. It's been a fantastic race here at Baku for sure. And I've really enjoyed it. It's been a fantastic one to watch indeed. And, well, let's see how it ends. Let's see who finishes where. Who can make the tyres last. Who's got the pace.
Well, Rudy Van Buren is convinced that Alex Siebel can make these tyres last. 4.7 seconds he has opened up to Risto Capit. I did wonder, was he going to try something a little bit sneaky in his second pit stop? And he has managed to get one over on Risto Capit and got past him and started to pull away. So really interesting that Siebel perhaps was keeping that in reserve. Is the German the new boy wonder in GPVWC? A lot of people were saying he was robbed in Melbourne. Nobody has any idea just how good he could have been at Shanghai. A lot of people saying he could have beaten Capit had that have gone his way. So now, Ben Horrell in difficulties. Ben Horrell has gone off.
Oh, yeah, Horrell off. I think he's had a reverse there, actually.
Oh.
Something's happened with Horrell, and, yeah, he's coming down the... Oh, dearie me, I think he actually, oh, dearie, something happened with Gomez.
Yeah, he lagged into Gomez.
Oh, wait, Gomez went forward or something. Yeah, he went backwards and hit the wall.
Big shunt for Ben Horrell, and that has cost his team valuable points because Ben Horrell was right up there in 12th position. Horrell has got going again in 15th position, so that is still on course for the final point. Well, that's a big moment for Ben Horrell, and that could have cost the team dear. Now, with what that means now is that David Fidek has got himself another point and is trying to close up on the Gomez-Burlak battle. Up into 14th position he goes. So Burlak is trying to outdrag Pedro Gomez down the straight. He'll have DRS, but I think he is too far back with the Quasar engined Edge Esports car. I'm not sure he's going to overhaul Pedro Gomez on pure speed with the Martex engine. What he might benefit from though is that Gomez not only made a mistake in the first turn, but of course he's on the thirstier Martex engine. Martex are obviously going to have to do a little bit of fuel conservation, we think, with their engine. So this could be where Burlak makes his move.
You mean Valiant, don't you, Jake?
No, sorry, I do mean Valiant. My apologies.
Martex is the one who's got fuel consumption, as is everyone else. Meanwhile, battle for 9th. Duvall and Hutchinson are at it, and well, there's no room for doubt. Both Martex engine cars, so no worried about who's going to save the fuel here. But Hutchinson doing a fairly good job here at the moment. He's doing a good job of keeping it on the back of Duvall. Yeah,
great run for the flag-to-flag team in the first 3 races this year. A lot of people were naysayers, basically saying, well, they're a brand new team. They've jumped straight into Super League, having had success in other championships. They're not going to be able to handle this. And every single race so far this season, they have taken those comments, put them up in the air and batted them into a home run. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch the flag-to-flag team develop in these first 3 races. They've got a good car underneath them, 2 very impressive drivers. Mark Hutchinson running very well here in the top 10. The second flag-to-flag car, sadly not going the distance on this occasion, but while he was running in the points, Michael Ayres was looking good. Look at Hutchinson now as he sweeps past Liam Duvall. The brick wall is going to get knocked down here, is it? Is Duvall going to defend to the inside? No! Hutchinson drives right round the outside. The difference in speed between those two, 8 kilometers an hour. That is set up, and that is masterclass from Hutchinson.
Yeah, Hutchinson straight through there. Nicely done. That's how it's done. That's how overtaking is made into success. Mark Hutchinson doing brilliant today. Kilgan Fournier is still going at it in and amongst all this. Tyan trying to catch up to Cameron, but he's not working. I think this Kilgan Fournier battle is the next closest.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, the thing is, Fournier has actually started to drop Alex Cooper, but these three, Kilk, Fournier and Cooper, for our money, we think that these guys have been at it for the last 26 laps, which is absolutely incredible. These three, Kilk, Fournier and Cooper, have been locked together since the first third of the race, which is absolutely amazing, and they are still battling away. Now, further back, David Fidek has been able to utilize again his long game attitude and has got himself onto the back of Gomez and Burlap. So it could be a three-way scrap for 12th.
It could be a three-way for 12th at this rate. And, well, Gomez, Burlock, Fidek, all very close together. Fidek making that resurgence that we talk about he can make at the end of a race like this. You never know when he's going to come back into it, and he could be about to come back into it now. This could be his moment to get further up the order again, as I'm looking at Alex Siebel coming up to some traffic here.
Yeah.
In the form of Pauline Howell, who I think battling for position.
Well, no, Horrell is on the lead lap in 15th place, and Paolini has already been won, so his difficulty. So Horrell has managed to get past Paolini, but that just shows you how disappointing Ben Horrell's race has gone in the last 5 laps, heavily into the points, and now Ben Horrell is really struggling in the lead of the race. Siebel has continued to extend his lead, though, over his teammate Risto Capit. The gap is now at 5.6 seconds. If he can make these tyres last, well, I think we have found our new superstar in Super League. It's been a longer time coming than people predicted. Some even said that he would take the victory in the first round of the championship. He was leading in Melbourne when he had a lag issue from another driver take him out of the race. Then he got taken out at the start at Shanghai. This time, he's going to get the job done in the lead if he just keeps this together. Now, Fidek is making the move. Fidek's going to try and make the move. Burlak's moved past Gomez. Fidek's going to get the move done as well. That's the David Fidek we know and love. He's got himself up into 13th position now as a result of that. But it is still fascinating to see that 12 months ago, we had the likes of Geyer and Fidek in the same team, battling for the wins with Rudy Van Buren and Alex Siebel. They're now in 11th and 13th, Geyer and Fidek, and that is the best we can see for them at the moment.
Yeah, for now at least, the best that they're going to get. Burlak obviously ahead of Fidek, so he's going to need to put the pace on if he wants to get the Burlak, of course. But definitely good in 13th. The position gained at the bare minimum for Fidek, and he has done what he needed to do to get in front, get back going again. And I'm looking at Jeffrey Fournier here, who's not going to get the undercut on Kelk, but he's going to make slight contact. But he was almost quick enough there. He's going to be chasing them down for this position now.
Watch him into 3. That's where it's going to be critical. He'll get a good... Right, Kelk's going to have to play ultra defensive to keep it. But right, Kilk, the Estonian, wants to keep him at bay. Jeff Fournier has won at Melbourne. He wants to win again. He's not going to do that today, but they are absolutely battling together. I wonder, did right Kilk actually travel across Jeff Fournier's line in the braking zone? They've been discussing this at DC level and with the race control as well. This has been absolutely critical for drivers not to be moving across in the braking zone. I wonder, did right Kilk do so?
That'll be one for the DC, I think. I think they'll be the ones who decide that for sure, of course, obviously. But it looks, it could have been oh, and look at that. Siebel's just flying 5.8 seconds. I've just noticed that he's that far ahead. He's pulling 3/10 a lap out on Capit. With him being worried about time, that does not surprise me.
6 seconds, Siebel, look at that.
Siebel.
That's amazing. 2/10 in the final sector he's pulled out there.
I will go on record and happily say I was wrong about him. He is going to have this, and well, here we go again, Fournier and Kilk.
Yeah, I think Fournier is going to get the slipstream this time, but it's going to be how Kilk responds to it. Through the left, through the right, and now back onto that home stretch. But Siebel extending the gap to Capit by 6 seconds. I think it's time to signal the arrival of a new superstar. Alex Siebel, in only his 6th race in Super League, is set to take the victory in much the same sort of style and flair that Jeff Fournier did at Melbourne. Alex Siebel, in only his 6th start in Super League, leads his teammate Risto Capit, who is on his 26th start by 6 seconds. Oh, right, Kilk is going to be cannon fodder for Fournier. He made a big mistake coming out of 2. Now, surely Fournier is going to make mincemeat of him down the straight here, but Kilk has managed to get it up to speed quickly. So Maybe he's going to hang on for a little while longer, but Fournier has definitely sensed that Raikkonen is weak and vulnerable. 3 laps to go, and Alex Siebel has just that Dino Paolini for the second time. And, well, Siebel is actually very near the end of the lap. So in 2 more laps, Alex Siebel will finally become the next German winner in GPVWC Super League.
Yes, he's going to start lap 50 now. He has 2 laps to go for him. This is his last lap but 1, and he knows now he is just 12 kilometers away from his first Super League race win, starting lap 50. He has 5.4 over Captain at the previous lap. He's now got 5.4. Captain would have to gain 2.8 seconds a lap to win this now.
I think the other man who's now out of contention for the victory, or even second place here, effectively, is Young. He's been sat behind Risto Capit for a while now. He just seems to have that same kind of pace, not only in a straight line, but even in the sectors. He's close, but not quite close enough. I'm not sure Risto Capit is going to have difficulty enough for Jarl Tyen to overhaul it, but a 3rd position for the Norwegian will still be very, very good as far as his season is concerned. Fournier and Kilt, side by side. Here we go. Fournier down the inside of Kilt. Kilt is going to try and come back at him round the outside. He's not going to yield. They know they've got 2 laps to go, and they're still battling away, still side by side. Fournier can't quite shut the door without Kilt coming across at him. Fournier, the back end steps out. Kilt slides a little bit back in the DRS. So look, Fournier dragging him round for the ride. This is going to be a 2-lap sprint between these 2 for 6th place.
Yes, it is. These 2 going to be on it. Kilt goes through. Fournier goes through. That's the thing. These 2 are not going to give each other any quarter whatsoever. It's going to go right down to the wire if any of these 2 has anything to say about it. But what's not going down to the wire is the lead of this race, because Alex Siebel is about to start the final lap.
Get ready, guys. This is going to be a very popular moment indeed. Alex Siebel has had a very promising start to his career. 3rd, of course, at Singapore last year. He's going on to the final lap now as he completes lap 50. 50 laps completed, and there it goes into his final tour around the circuit. 3rd at Singapore on his debut last year. Super Cup champion last year with 18 wins from 29 starts. Winning is not something that Alex Siebel is new to, but in Super League, he has yet to do it. Meanwhile, we've got Fournier and Kilk still going very fast indeed, although now Kilk has dropped back off the tail of Fournier, so Cooper is now going to be the next target as far as Kilk is concerned to keep him back. Siebel's lead over Capit, 5.4 seconds. It's been a masterclass from Alex Siebel, Josh.
It has been a masterclass from Siebel. He has pulled out all of the stops in this race.
Fidek is having a decent battle here with Pedro Gomez. They are side by side for 12th and 13th in the final tours as well. And that's been an interesting battle towards the end of the race. So Fidek has got past Burlak up into 13th. Yes. He's now going for Gomez in 12th, and he's got just over a lap to do that.
Oh, this is going to be brilliant for him. This is going to be fantastic. Fidek, I reckon, he's going to have a very good shout at this. He's the world champion twice over for a reason, but here's someone who could very well end up as world champion this year. Alex Siebel going to round the final main corner. He is going to be on his way. Just the kinks to go now. Here we go indeed. He's been waiting for this all season, but it's finally going to come good to him. Round the final turn and a sprint for the finish. I will be Avic Cronent Racing's Zach Speed's Alex Siebel, who is going to do the Donis here at Baku.
Look at him winning!
Victory at last for Siebel. He wins in Baku, and ACL Zach Speed get another win on the board. Kappa makes it a 1-2, 15 from 14, and Jarl Tyen on the podium. And he is donuts. He's doing donuts. Tyen's happy. Jordan fourth, Costa fifth. Fournier, Kilt, Cooper, Hutchinson, Duvall, Gaia.
Oh, Cooper's lost it! Cooper's lost it, oh my word, Cooper just about gets that together, but that was very nearly 8th position he threw away there, right at the death. Fidek has worked his way up into 12th position as well, but Alex Siebel has done the business. Das ist ein guten Abend for Alex Siebel. Magnificent job. And a magnificent win for ACR Zakspeed. It's their first 1-2 of the season. Siebel has been threatening to do that since Albert Park. He scored no points in Australia, no points in Shanghai. Now it is time for their victory dance as Alex Siebel has got the job done in magnificent style. Oh, Ben Horrell out of the race. Ben Horrell out of the race on the last lap then, lost the final point, and that goes the way of Bastian Paisler. So Paisler is going to get the final point as Hutchinson comes home in 9th place, Duval in 10th from Gaia, Fidek, Gomez, and Peter Burlak. Bastian Paisler will get the final point. But
Horrell was tagged by an Adonis of some sorts, and then he went round, lost the front wing, had a massive spin, and then just came into the pits. And
I wonder if that's Adam Taylor.
I'm going to go back and look. It might have been Adam Taylor, actually. Yeah, it was. Taylor went for the inside, and it was never going to work. And he just went. Burlak finished 14th, but he just went for a gap that was never going to work. And I think the DC are going to drop the hammer on him after the race. And I must be honest, you cannot go for gaps that small.
Well, fantastic work from Alex Siebel. He takes the victory from Risto Caput and Jarl and Jordan in 4th place. Solid drive from him, quietly there in 4th place ahead of Ricardo Costa. Similarly, getting on with the job and bringing it home in 5th place. Jeff Fournier, Wright Kilk, Alex Cooper, Mark Hutchinson and Liam Duval rounding out the top 10 in front of Flo Guy, David Fidek, Pedro Gomez, Peter Burlak and Bastian Paisler. It's been an absolutely cracking race and, well, absolutely fantastic performance after 51 laps of intense racing here at Azerbaijan. It's been a terrific first visit to the Azerbaijan street circuit here from GPVWC. I'm going to sign off at this point and leave the interviews to the two men who started us off at the top of the bill, to Alex Skinner joining us back in the room, as well as my main commentator beside me, Josh Anderson. What a fantastic day at the office it's been. And, well, it's going to take me 2 weeks to recover for the next one. Thanks, boys.
Well, indeed, we get the pleasure of doing the interviews. But thank you, Jake. Thank you for joining us. Of course, as always, pleasure to have you with us and lending your voice to what has been a fantastic Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I could barely get a word in edgeways to us that much. But I'm sure that, yeah, it was for the better, to be honest. Anyway, thank you again for joining us, Jake. Pleasure to have you. And now comes the fun bit where we get to interview people, isn't it, Alex? Well, you should be.
Upon a little bit of. Let's see, look, I've been telling you lot what to do the whole race, and now I can't say anything myself.
Well, now you get the
but
chance.
Yeah, it's been a great.
Now you get the chance to. Oh dear, I think there was a slight problem. You weren't unmuted until slightly later there, but now you actually get a chance to speak.
Well, yeah, it was absolutely astonishing race, and now it is the fun part. We get to have a chat with the drivers and the winners and everyone else, and, well, who's the first person that we could bring into this interview box?
Well, we'll have to wait for someone to turn up first. I think everyone's doing
Oh, we do have,
Oh, actually, we have someone. Do you know who it is? It just so happens
It's a Risto Caput.
In fact, it's not just the Risto Caput. What it is, it's the
whole ACR team.
It's the whole ACR contingent we welcome in. First of all, talk about not letting down with the first interview. We have Alex Siebel, Mike Pittman, and Risto Caput. 3 for the price of 1 here at Baku. We'll start, of course, with the race winner, Alex Siebel. What a masterstroke of a win that was.
Thank you.
That was brilliant. The strategy you pulled at the end, I didn't think it was going to work, I'll be honest, but you proved us wrong, and you pulled out an immense lead by the end of it.
Yeah, Risto was extremely fast. I didn't expect it like that because yesterday he weren't as quick, so he must have found some temps over the night. So I couldn't overtake him in the first stint with the same tires. So I had to go for the alternative strategy.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, I had to take an alternate strategy, but it paid off in the end with that fantastic and well-deserved win. This is going to help you fight back to get back in the championship hunt now after a subpar first couple of rounds, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm looking just race after race because the first 2 rounds I feel comfortable, but then in the end 0 points. So I will take each race as its own, and then we'll look at the standings after the season.
Yeah, a very, very astute way of looking at it, of course, and one that could indeed win in championship if it came to that. And, well, Risto Caput, 2nd place to your own teammate at the end, but still ahead in the championship compared to Siebel.
Yeah, that's great. That's absolutely my goal for the race. Just like Alex, I was surprised that I got close. In qualifying, I really exceeded myself, and was controlling it in the beginning, but it was obvious that although he tried to overtake me once, that he could just drive in the DRS and save a little bit of fuel for more boost later. And since we were on an alternate strategy from the beginning, he would have ultra softs and max boost in the end. So it was good, but in the end the gap was not that big at all. So I am very satisfied. It was very hard to keep Jarl behind as I was running out of fuel, but it was very tense, very tight. But I did a perfect race, and that's a great result.
Yeah, indeed, a difficult race, but getting second in the end very much helps. And I'm going to ask, it definitely helps ACL Zach Speed in the team's championship as well. I think you overhaul Epic with that. So that's going to be very useful for using the team's championships. We'll talk to Mike Pittman now, the team boss, though, who I'm sure had several heart-in-mouth moments throughout that race.
That first stint, there was one particular moment, yeah. And obviously the start in general was always a bit iffy, having watched the last 2 nights. And the last few Super League races as well, we were all a bit, watching Alex in case he just wasn't there for some reason at some point. But no, fantastically, they both got to the end, so I couldn't have asked for more. That's a fantastic team that I've got here.
Yeah, of course, and arguably the best driver lineup, at least in Super League at the moment. And, well, the car behind them as well, coming together as well, that Valiant engine going more power. May have had to look after fuel a bit, but most certainly paid off in the end.
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it? 1, 2, and a 4th and a 7th as well. We've only got 6 cars, and 2 didn't finish. The other 4 on the top 7. So that shows kind of how Valiant worked, I suppose. So good work for the other teams as well. Great that they're part of it. Sorry to the other teams, I suppose, that didn't choose the Valiant. But otherwise, no. These guys are fantastic. They whatever car we put them in, they do brilliantly well anyway. So. I can't ask for more, and to be right up there, Alex deserves this bit of luck after the last 2 races as well. And Risto just carries on as always, doing fantastically well, and either of them would have deserved the win, but to come away with a 1-2 is every team manager's dream. With no collisions, that's tick box all the way today. Brilliant.
Yeah, lots of tick boxes. Just one more quick question for Alex Siebel before we round up this particular interview. And Alex, obviously this is one victory for you. We see taking the races race by race, taking everything as it comes. And, well, to get your first win in Super League, though, because this is your first win in Super League, must feel good.
Yeah, of course, it's quite special to win Super League, especially with this driver lineup everywhere. At every team, it's quite competitive, so it's it was already satisfying to be in front in qualifying the first, or at least the first round, already at the top together with Risto. But to get it transformed into a victory is, of course, a really special moment.
Yeah, indeed, great stuff. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Alex Siebel, Bristol Kipper, and Mike Pittman, the entire Avid Chronic Racing Zach Speed contingent joining us. And well done on a fantastic 1-2.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Right, I think it's time that we bring a certain, sorry about that, a certain edge driver into the mix. Jarl Tyen joins us now. Great to have you with us, Jarl, 3rd place.
I'm actually pretty disappointed, I'll be honest. But getting tired of finishing 3rd. I think today could have been a lot better had turn 1 gone a lot better. I look in my mirrors and I see someone full locking and a completely smash it to my left rear, and I have probably a half a second slower car every lap after that. My tire wear was completely wrecked after that. I was supposed to go 2 laps longer on each ultra soft stint, but I had to cut them short every time because my tire economy was completely wrecked with the damage. Gained a lot more time than I expected considering the damage, but I think I would have had something to fight for the win had my car been okay through turn 1.
Yeah, indeed. Still, though, managing to get a 3rd place, which might not have been what you wanted, but definitely what you ended up with. And, well, it does favour us for edge in the team's championship, I guess, as well. Peterberg finishing further down the order, though. But your 3rd place going to help you keep your team in the team's championship.
Sure, yeah. These early races, it's about salvaging as many point finishes as possible. And I guess even though I think me and Petro was a little unlucky today, we still salvaged 15 or 16 points for me and I don't know where Petar finished. I guess he's outside the points, but 16 points is
no,
all right.
Petar finished inside the points.
Sorry?
You've got a double points finish. Petar finished inside the points, so you managed to get a double points finish.
Perfect.
I think you
Yeah, I wasn't sure. His car was completely destroyed after getting dive bombed. So yeah, good for him. That's great. I'm very happy with that then, considering our lap one was pretty abysmal.
Yeah, indeed. Slightly unfortunate race in that regard, but still third place, something to be very proud of. Thank you all for joining us, and pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks for streaming.
Right, okay, I think it is time to bring a certain German into proceedings, and that would be one Florian Gaia. So, you know what? I think I'm going to give the honours. Sorry about that. I did warn you that you were coming in now, but I'll give the honours to this interview to Alex Linner.
Hey, Flo, welcome to the broadcast. Obviously, congrats on the first points for Street Fighter this year, first of all. Obviously, pretty quiet race for you guys, just running your own race, trying to keep out of all the chaos that was going on through turn one. Was it a race you want? Was that the result you wanted, or did you think you could have gotten any higher than that?
That certainly wasn't the result I wanted, but hello, first of all, everyone. Yeah, quali, it was quite a mess. My PP from testing on last group would have got me P3, but the usual thing with me, I don't get it together in quali and mess up pretty every attempt. And was, what was it, P19 or something like that. Yeah, Ben wasn't far off me. I think he done a good job. And then lap one, we just tried to avoid potential carnage ahead. Yeah, and then I don't know where I was, P13 or something like that, or P9, I don't know. I was battling with Adam Taylor, but he got me into the wall twice, and my car was pointing to the left from that onwards, and I lost quite a lot of pace. But it's no excuse. I mean, P11 is pretty much a disappointing result, to be honest, when I know the pace me and Ben had. But yeah, we gotta take it. I mean, we had two horrible races so far this season, and Ben really deserved points today. He wasn't far off me, and even ahead of me at some point when I outbraked myself in turn 3. I'm just disappointed for the guy, but we're getting there, baby steps. Obviously, pace, clean air was alright, just 4 seconds behind Cooper and Fournier and Kirk at some point, and I was pretty confident to get them, but for some reason it didn't work from then onwards. And yeah, that's pretty much the story today. Yeah.
Which was just one of those races, and obviously being the only Street Fighter to actually finish in the points with Ben having issues, it's not the most ideal of finishes, but at least you managed to finally get some points on the board after the two what were effectively atrocious races, with you being sent into the air in Melbourne and then having the issues throughout the whole race, and then just eventually parking the car at China. Is there anything else that you can think of that could potentially boost the car for the rest of the season, or is it just a case of actually finishing without issues?
No, the targets stay the same. I mean, the guys in the room here and everybody else watching probably thinks I'm crazy or so, but my goal is still the World Championship. It's that hasn't changed, you know. I mean, if I had any other goals, I might as well stay home, and you know, and that's the same for Ben. He's trying everything, and we together as a team with the guys, pushing really hard, and we try all we can to improve the situation. It's not ideal and easy, but I think the base for the stand, we can do this. And at this point, I just like to thank Red Bull because you know, they're helping us. So I mean, it's gonna go forward, I'm sure. And I also like to thank the other guys in the team. They helped us pretty good in testing. And also congrats to ACR and Alex, first win, Weatherman. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you, Flo, and hopefully your race results can pick up towards the rest, or throughout the rest of the season. We're now going to bring in Florian Guy's teammate, who sadly just dropped out of the points on the final lap, Ben Horrell. Ben, I feel for you, I really do, and it's such a shame to see you drop out of the points on that final lap.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough race. Up until about lap 40, I thought me and Flo had, some pretty easy double points. We just started saving fuel, bringing the car home, sort of, limp home mode. Trying to keep the gap to Pedro, which I was doing. We're about a second apart. Then had a lag spike, which put me into Pedro's car, and I ended up upside down against the barrier. So yeah, that wasn't ideal. Everybody went through. Had about a 20-second gap to 15th or 16th. Sorry. Thought I'd have enough to bring the car home, but no, it just wasn't. The car was pretty undrivable for the last sort of 5 laps, and yeah, unfortunate, but we go again in Spain.
Yeah, indeed, and yeah, obviously not the best run in the world here, but indeed doing a decent job of the race, I guess, today. Goals going forward, I assume, will be the same, trying to get some more points.
Yeah, more points. Points mean prizes. Flo's probably one of the most motivated drivers I've ever raced with or come across. So we'll be going back now, starting testing for Catalonia in about sort of 10 minutes, and yeah, hopefully we'll be both in the interview again for Spain, but this time as podium runners. That's the goal for Spain.
Yeah, indeed, and well, that just goes to show how dedicated you are. It is going to start now, but yeah, indeed, great stuff. Thank you for joining us, Florian and Ben, and well, it is a shame that we do have to lose you now, obviously, from this broadcast, but better luck for the next race.
Cheers, guys. See you again.
Thank you.
Right, and finally, I think it's time that I fanboy a bit, because we've got Jeffrey Fournier in the lobby with us, who got a 6th place in the points, and great stuff from you, Jeffrey. Not quite the win, but very good result anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Not a great quality, to be honest, and yeah, I just tried to move up during the race, and actually P6 was the best I could do today, so very happy with that. And to continue my point finish streak.
Yeah, indeed, and keep the points on, keep rolling, and keep beating, I guess, Boyer in the standings as well. And that result has really kept you in the contention for the championship. Yes, you're a bit behind Risto Kappa now, but still doing very well.
Well, actually, I think ACR and Hedgie and yeah, guys like Dennis Jordan are way quicker than me. But yeah, if I can. Let's say if I can stay in the top 8, it will be a good first year for us in Superleague.
Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic goal indeed. And looking forward to the next few races then, obviously. Any you're particularly looking forward to?
Well, I'm just very looking forward for Monaco, to be honest.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's my favorite track, so yeah, we'll see what we can do. And with the next upgrade, let's see if we can continue the top 10 finishes.
Yeah, and of course you got your home Grand Prix on the 24th of May as well at Paul Ricard, which is going to be an interesting one too, isn't it?
Well, great to have a race in France, but yeah, not my favorite track anyway, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Great stuff anyway. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and brilliant 6th again. Oh, no problem. Our pleasure, especially when people like you make it so easy to talk well about it. And yeah, I think that rounds out the interviews. So good race overall, wasn't it, Alex?
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal to watch, and everyone made it absolutely brilliant to actually be a part of. And let's hope that Spain in 2 weeks is going to follow on.
Yeah, we can hope it is. And yeah, obviously, 2 weeks' time, we'll have the next Super League race. A week's time, we'll have the, I think we got the next episode of World GT coming up recently as well, haven't we?
Yep, next week we've got the second round of the World GT Series, same time, same channel, same, well, different commentary team, but it will be at the Bathurst circuit. Well, it's going to be a very interesting one indeed. Super League-wise, though, the standings after this round, well, they haven't changed much, but where they've changed very critically. Risto Capit's still at the top of the table, 61 points. Fournier second on 41, a 20-point gap now between the Estonian and the Frenchman. Tyne climbs up to third, the Norwegian going on to 40 points, only a point off Jeffrey now. Liam Duval drops from third to fourth on 34 points. And Dennis Jordan climbs up to fifth with 26 points. The German making some inroads, so maybe this could be a very strong season for him. In the team standings, it's the end of round 3, the top 5. ACR Zaxpeed jump up to the top, 86 points to 62 from Edge Esports. Another 24-point gap this time, so it's still very much all to play for. Third place, Epic Racing drop 55 points now. And Hawkeye Storm stay 4th and 5th with 40 points and 34 points. Well, with not many rounds to go, well, with many rounds to go, sorry. Josh, what do you think?
It's looking good for ACR at the moment, isn't it? Up there in 86 points, and they'll be carrying the momentum into the next round. They hold all the aces right now, and, well, we'll hope you'll be there as well in 2 weeks' time when we visit the Spanish Grand Prix once again. But, once again, from the broadcast team, Garrett DeVries on cameras, Alex Skinner, and me, Joshua Anderson, this has been a fantastic race at Baku. Alex Siebel won the battle, but in the terms of standings at the least, it's still Risto Capit winning the war of the ACR drivers. Only time will tell if he can catch you back up. But for now, it's Abercrombie Racing Zaxby in the driver's seat. See you in 2 weeks.